1, 2. Hey, everybody, how's it going? What is new? Give me just a second. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Test, test. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Check, check, check. How you guys doing, everybody? I'm doing good, everybody. How are you? Gotta kind of give opportunity for more folks to get in. Hope everybody's doing good. Let me see what. Yes, Terry, how are you? Thank you so much for ordering slime. Let me tell you, we are. One of the things is that we had to wait for some canisters and whatnot. So now that we have those, we can actually ship them out. And one of the things that was ordered from an order we didn't have in stock, even though it said we did. So we had to make some more. So there's like lots of things that are going on, and we will get all that worked out. Everybody, I'll be right with you. I forgot to lock the door. I have to lock the door. No, you're not allowed to come back in here. No, I'm locking the door. Anyways, yeah, so we are yeah, Terry, I saw that you had mentioned that you had ordered, as I mentioned, we were out of canisters, so now we've got some, and we're going to be moving forward with getting everything ordered and getting it put in. Then on top of that, we also I also saw that you mentioned that you weren't a fan of Vanity 6. I got it. That's cool. But I don't know that outside of Nasty Girl, I was really a huge fan either. But after reading a lot about some of the stuff that was going on, and it's definitely piqued my interest in it. And so it's definitely worth checking out. So you are thoroughly going to enjoy it. Lots of stuff going on. Yes, families aren't fun. Yeah. So, because they don't listen at all. They know this is the one night that I actually go live, and they decided to do a bunch of stuff here in the office. We're actually migrating things out of this office into another location. So it is one of those nights, you know. It's kind of one of those things. Just make it up as we go along. I hope everybody's doing good. We are man, I tell you, it is Andre, shut the up. Nobody's getting naked. Nobody's watching porn. I mean, what the hell is going on? Anyways, only Andre. Okay, so what was I going to say now? Oh yeah, so I got wine. It's a lot of it too, actually. This is what is it? Blackberry wine from Oliver. So very, very cool. Lenny says Lenny met all of Vanity. That's cool. Wow. That's a potent blackberry wine. This is Oliver's blackberry wine. Very potent. Cheers. Cheers, everybody. I gotta say hello to everybody. Let's hear. Andre, I already said hello to you. How you doing, brother? I'm just messing with you, Andre. You're a mess. You're a mess. I'm just actually surprised, Andre, that you haven't asked your question. You haven't. The one question that you always ask me is, "What did I win?" Cammy, thank Thank you. This is wine that actually Cammie sent to me. Cammie, thank you so much for sending it. It's great. It's amazing stuff. Good stuff. Got some kick to it because I got to get ready for the show for sure. I don't know if anybody has been to the Facebook page, but let me tell you, I just got done taking a picture of all of the prizes that are in the prize pack for the Bootsy Collins Music Cares Challenge, and listed it all out. All the updates of everything. And it is ridiculous. The amount of prizes in this grand prize drawing is so stupid. Andre's going to get naked first. Andre said he's going to get naked, but Andre never turns the lights on. Even when we were doing the Zoom thing, he would always be sitting in the dark. And the only time you knew he was there when you see a lighter light up in the dark. So Andre's getting naked. We're not going to be able to see that. Sorry, he's not on video. So we'll work around that, though. It's all good. Linda, nobody's getting yelled at. I'm screwing with Andre. Donna, hello. Linda, hello. Charlotte, hello. Oh, well, you were talking about earlier. So all of my daughter's stuff for the stuff that she's doing for 2georgiagirls.com, all the stuff. Hold on just a second. See, now I got to close the door because she's left it propped open. I can hear the dogs. Hold on. So anyways, so all the stuff that she's doing for 2georgiagirls.com, for those of you not familiar with 2georgiagirls.com, I don't have any of it sitting over here, but with 2georgiagirls.com, basically what it is we are, my daughter has created slime. She's actually created the slime that has therapeutic qualities to it. So if you have a little bit trouble resting and relaxing, there's lavender that she's mixed in with the slime. If you need to be awake, she's got one called Lemon Lift. That's really just kind of, it's almost like a caffeinated type of slime. So all this different types of slime with therapeutic qualities to it. And it's at 2georgiagirls.com, TWO georgiagirls.com. And man, the orders have been crazy. Thanks to a lot, mostly to you guys, but also it's just the word's gotten out and it's been insane. And it's been very, very difficult for her to keep up, but she's working at it. And she officially ran out of canisters. So we had to order more canisters for her. And, we're trying to settle on the canister design. We've had some that had an aluminum lid and some that had a clear plastic lid and some that had a white plastic lid. And so I think we've settled on the white plastic lid. We just felt like that was maybe a little bit more accessible. The one with the metal plastic lid, it wouldn't stand up in the box. And it was like, anyways, it was just kind of a little bit of a mess. But now we've actually got them. We're ordering them. So again, we got she's got 6 different ones that are there and they're phenomenal. All I've been doing is getting emails from all over the country where people are just saying, man, we got the slime and it's freaking incredible and we love it. And there's people that are having issues with people that are having issues with various whatever ailments it may be, whether it be arthritis or whatever, and they're just able to just play and just use it for therapy. And it's just been gangbusters. Again, if you guys are interested in it, it's 2georgiagirls.com, TWO georgiagirls.com, or you can also go to slimeforadults.com. And it's great. It's been going gangbusters and everybody's been loving it. But the whole point of that story was not to pump it again, but because of the fact that all of her stuff, all of her materials, all of her things were out here in my office on this side of my office. And so they decided tonight of all nights that they want to move that stuff out of the office, out into the actual garage and into various areas. So that's kind of what's been going on. Luckily, we're in the pre-show here, so this doesn't count towards the actual show itself. So we're okay. That's just kind of what we're dealing with. But let me say hello to all these fine folks here. Susie, hello. Renee, hello. Andre, obviously, hello. Lenny, I'm jealous that you got an opportunity to meet them in Cincinnati. Donna, yes, he may actually be Andre may actually be in in his underwear. Who knows? Thank you, Linda, for posting that URL to georgiagirls.com. Yeah, you know what, Leanne, I think it would be a really cool idea to actually put like a little Prince charm in the slime. That would be great. I think if we could, find a place to get bulk Prince symbols and actually put them in the slime, I think people would love it. It's amazing. It's really, really good. Yes, Cami, thank you so much for that URL. We were Michelle says they were in a band together, but she was a year ahead of me. Hey, Janice, how are you? Donna, hello. Michelle, what band? I mean, who specifically? Vanity? That's a really cool story. We got definitely want to hear the full story of that for sure. But yeah, so we put the word out. Obviously, I put the word out. When we want to do some of these album chats. One of the things I wanted to do is I wanted to make sure that there were some people that may have been involved in the process that would like to help kind of expand the story a little bit. We have a lot of stories based on just based on Prince Vault and interviews and magazines and all different types of sources in order to get the stories that we do for album chats. But it's always good because you always to find an artist that was actually involved in the album. Like we had Tony M and a lot of NPG on for the album chats that we did for like Gold Nigga and some of that stuff. And then we had Dwayne Tudall, who did that amazing book, Prince and the Purple Rain era studio sessions. We had him on for Purple Rain, and that was just great. So there was lots of different things that we actually had. And we did put the word out. Vanity is no longer with us, but we did try to do our best to find somebody who was involved in the album and see if we could get them in here tonight. But it's just, I think just scheduling conflicts just may or may not work. But we're going to be starting that at 8:00. But before I get too far off schedule, I want to make sure that I talk to you about the Bootsy Cares Music Care Challenge one last time. I know this kind of seems like this is what we spend the pre-show talking about, and that's not necessarily true. Hey, Mary, what's going on? The grand prize package right now for this Music Cares Challenge, I want to make sure that you take advantage of this because it's ridiculous. This prize package is just almost, it's kind of too much, I think. I'm pretty sure you guys don't think it's too much. But if you donate to the Music Cares Challenge, for every $5 that you donate, you get an entry to this contest. And a lot of people are donating, but there's a lot of people that have not sent me the receipt to let me know that they've donated. And that's the only way that I can see that you guys have donated. Thank you, Cami. The current amount is $2,986.61. So we've almost hit the 3,000 mark for this Music Cares Challenge. It has nothing to do with Funkatopia. All we're doing is helping to raise the money for these artists that are struggling. Artists that really have a really, really difficult time, making ends meet during this pandemic because they've been spending all this time working as hard as they possibly can to find ways to pay their mortgage and find ways to just keep the lights on and keep food on the table. And that's just been really, really difficult for a lot of people. And so Bootsy Collins came to us and we were talking with him, and we have come up with, we are doing whatever we can to drive people to donate. And one of the things that I did is that I actually went into my personal collection and I pulled out a bunch of my personal collectibles. As you can see from everything that's around here, I've got collectibles. Gosh, I've got collectibles as far as the eye can see. I mean, I've got collectibles everywhere. Anyway, so I'm pulling together all these collectibles, and I'm going to be sending them out to 3 winners. We're going to have a grand prize winner, second place, and third place winner. And then a wonderful person who may or may not be here. I have not seen her. I have not seen her in the mix this morning, tonight, but she may be. Michelle Bryant actually dug into, I'm trying to see if I can find the box anywhere. Michelle Bryant actually dug into her collection, and she sent me a stack of collector's magazine and a stack of of vinyl stickers and Prince symbol logos and like all of this stuff. Ivana, how you doing? Andre, 4,000 Prince staying up poster. I don't know what that means. And Andre apparently has a stand-up poster. And I'm, yeah. Yeah, as Lenny said, Susan Moonsey would be a bucket list interview. Absolutely, for sure. She's not an easy person to get in contact with. If anybody knows how to get in contact with her, please email me privately. I don't want to get out her information or whatever, but I would love to interview her. But I did reach out to Brenda Bennett. We have been kind of talking back and forth, and I gave her the information. If she happens to show up tonight, that'd be fantastic. But, who knows? We're not exactly sure if she'll actually be able to make it tonight. If she does, that'll be amazing. We start the show at 8:00. She knows that, so she may or may not pop in. We shall see. Headley, what's going on? Appreciate it. Cosmic Kins. Cosmic Kin says, can you enter it if you aren't living in the USA? Unfortunately, right now, currently, it's only open to United States citizens. However, if you do donate, please make sure that you still send me the receipt anyways, because I might be able to work something out with Bootsy to at least get you guys something if you happen to win. But because of the size of the grand prize package right now, it's already going to cost me an insane amount of money to send what we have in the grand prize package right now. And if it happens to be in Canada, I'm screwed. We had somebody, we had a Funkatopian order slime. We don't sell slime outside the continent of the United States, but we had a Funkatopian order slime for Canada, and where Andre lives, and of course, obviously where Cosmic Kins lives. And for 2 jars of slime, it was $20. 2 8-ounce jars, a small box like this. $20 to send it. It was ridiculous. So I just it's kind of one of those things where I don't know what to tell you other than it is what it is. Let's see here. Hold on a second. Let me hold on just a second. I don't like drinking on camera. Screw it. I'll do it. So anyways, you're in the UK. That would be that'd be even worse. We can figure out something. I can make sure I get you something if you happen to win. But obviously, it's just one of those scenarios where it would be very, very expensive to send this grand prize package. I want to make sure. I think that Patty is going to be joining us in just a few minutes. So when she comes online, I want to make sure that she hears what this grand prize package is up to right now. It is ridiculous. But anyways, the Cami, if you could post that URL one more time for givelynow.com, that's where you're going to enter the contest for the Bootsy Music Cares Challenge. And I'm going to ramble off everything really, really quick. And then, but what I actually did is that I actually took a picture of everything that is in the grand prize package, and I just posted it on Facebook. So if you happen to go to facebook.com/Funkatopia, which is where you are right now, you can actually look at the post and you can see the last post that was done. I know that this broadcast is actually pinned to the top, but right underneath that is the last post that we did. That is a picture of the grand prize package. And there is even things missing out of that grand prize package. There is some Bootsy items that are missing out of that package. So even that package, as big as that picture is, there's still stuff missing from that package. There's a pack of Bootsy Collins playing cards that's missing out of that package. There is a signed an autographed picture from a card from Bootsy. There is, all kinds of stuff that's coming from Bootsy. Bootsy is actually including an album, a vinyl album that he is going to personally autograph too. That's also included in that grand prize package. That's not in the picture either. So there are 3 Bootsy items that are autographed Bootsy items that are going to be in the mix. So you do not, it's crazy. It's just the amount of items that are in this package are just insane. I will ramble them through you, but I just have to pre-warn you that I'm going to have to run through them again once we go live at 8:00, which is going to be in about 9 minutes. But right now, the grand prize is, if you're ready for this, a pair of Bootsy Collins star glasses from Shine, a deck of Bootsy Collins playing cards, personally autographed card from Bootsy Collins, a personally signed rare vinyl from Bootsy Collins, an Earth, Wind, and Fire CD box set for the greatest hits called The Eternal Flame, 3 Prince art prints from Mary A. Johnson, new Prince book called Life and Times, the big hardcover book, new Prince Inside the Music and Mass book, Prince and the Purple Rain Era Studio Sessions book from Dwayne Tudall, 2 Prince Collectors magazines, an original Morris Day tour program. What else we have? A purple Prince handmade studded book bag. That's also in that picture. A very used, very, very used, may have scratches and fingerprints and everything else, Prince Let's Go Crazy 12-inch. And I think it has Erotic City on the back, I believe, also 12-inch. Yes, it's used and it's not sellable really, but it's personally for my collection. And it is, I have been carrying that thing around since 1985. So just so we're clear, that is an album that I personally have carried around the country since 1985. So that's what's kind of really friggin' cool. We're not done yet. A Funkatopia hat, a Prince DVD called The Glory Days, a Club Funketeers bracelet from Bootsy Collins, a Funkatopia sticker, a Funkatopia shirt, and a Prince symbol vinyl for your car. That's one friggin' prize. That's the grand prize. That's just ridiculous. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's just insane. Linda says, is it possible to donate Prince related items to the cause? Yes, you absolutely can. The mailing address is actually on the Funkatopia site, on the contact page is on the PO box. And yes, you can definitely do that. This contest ends September 1st, but we will be doing another contest starting on September 1st because the contest itself doesn't end until I want to say October 20th. We didn't want to drag this on until October 20th. So we are doing the drawing on Funkatopia Live on September 1st. So you have to tune in on September 1st and you will see who the winner was of that grand prize package. And that's a massive package. I mean, that's like, I hear that quite a bit. Second place. I told you this was an adults only show. Second place is 2 Prince. The wine's already kicking in. Second place is 2 Prince art prints from Mary A. Johnson, a personally autographed IPA poster from Bootsy Collins, a new Prince Life and Times hardcover book, the big book, a Music Spotlight Collector's Edition Prince magazine, plus 2 additional Prince collector magazines, a Funkatopia hat, a Funkatopia sticker, plus a Prince symbol vinyl for your car. That's second place, which is already, that's a lot. Just already for second place. And then third place, you're still going to get, all 3 places get an autographed something from Bootsy Collins. For the third place, you get a personally autographed card from Bootsy Collins, 1 Prince art print from Mary A. Johnson, 2 Prince collector magazines, a Prince symbol vinyl for your car, Funkatopia hat, Funkatopia sticker, and that's third place. So all three of these prize packages are pretty awesome. And you're going to get them if you happen to win. So that's going to be, that's about as cool as it gets. All right, this is the last song before we have to start the show. This is Vavoom. And we will actually be starting this show again, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when we do the show. You are watching it right now. You're watching the pre-show on Facebook.com. It's also, you may also be watching it on YouTube as well. I see most folks here are all on Facebook, but I do know that we do have lots of fans on YouTube as well. And then, of course, also Radionomy and a bunch of others. And then, of course, once it's done, we actually throw it out and edit it. And then it goes to iHeartRadio. It goes to iTunes. It goes to SoundCloud. It goes to a bunch of different places. So all that being said, it's going to be an amazing night tonight. I hope you're going to tune in. It's going to be a lot of fun. We are doing the album chat tonight for Vanity 6. Yes, I did invite Brenda. I know that I kind of really didn't give her a whole bunch of fair warning. I think I tried to track her down like yesterday. So, but it's okay. We still got lots of stuff. If she comes, that's going to be great. It'll be great to have her pop in regardless. And we'll just take it from there. So, Ivana, hello. Jackie said, "How do you remember all that?" No, I didn't. Andre's right. It's actually on Facebook right now. So if you go to the facebook.com/Funkatopia and you look at the recent post, the one underneath this one that is pinned to the top, you will see a picture of this stuff. You'll be able to see all of it. It's all there. So, and according to Cammie, we just made it over $3,000 mark, $3,001.61. Thank you guys so much. Congratulations. Andre is saying that I'm frozen, but I will tell you this, after the, I guess, little fiasco that we had a few weeks ago, I have switched to a different computer that is actually hardwired to the internet. So we're not going to have the wireless issue. So if you are having an issue with being frozen, most likely could possibly be your connection, but it's okay because we are actually recording this audio. So if you happen to miss anything, we will rehash it for sure. Lots of really cool things. Hey, what's going on? Lucky, welcome. Cassandra, welcome. Janika, what's going on? Purple fam in the house. We got 2 minutes before the show starts. Man. So what are we drinking tonight? We are drinking blackberry wine from Oliver. Thank you to Cammie, who thank you so much to Cammie, who actually gave, I think I remember what it was. She was, I have to take some Advil because my back has been, I don't know if it's this chair or what it is, but it's a mess. And Peppermint Patty is just joining us. Hold on a second. Let me take this Advil and then we're going to start this show here and get Patty on the line. I'm doing drugs. Yay. Hand with wine. Boy, that says a lot. Let me get hold on a second. I've got to get the headsets on because Patty's on the line. Hold on a second. Hey, Patty, what you doing, girl?
Hey, I'm just running in. I've been out all day, and I said, oh, my goodness, I got to get to my Funkatopians. So I said, I hope I'm not too late, but
no, you're not. Actually, we're going to be starting the show here in less than a minute, and I wanted to rerun through two good notes for you here because we got a new grand prize listing here. We finally redid the grand prize listing. And then on top of that, great news, we actually passed the $3,000 mark.
Woo! I just looked at my email because I was looking for the link and I saw all these donations. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Funkatopians. Wow.
Yes, they are awesome. Definitely, they're dedicated. For those of you who don't know, this is Peppermint Patty, the beautiful wife of Bootsy Collins. There she is. What's going on?
I'm so thankful to be here. Thank you for having me.
All right. Here we go. We're about to start the show in 10 seconds here. Hold on. We're gonna talk about this one more time and then we'll let you go because I know you're busy. Hold on a second. What's up, everybody?
What's up?
I'm actually drinking tonight, Patty.
I love it.
It's red wine. Good. Fantastic. It's good stuff.
Yeah, it's good for your heart.
Yep. All right, we're going to go ahead and just kind of break into it. It's Mr. Christopher with the Funkatopia Radio Show. I hope everybody's doing well. You can join us via video and also be part of the chat here on Funkatopia. Well, actually on Facebook, facebook.com/Funkatopia. You can also watch live on YouTube. And you'll also see it afterwards on iHeartRadio and iTunes and Radionomy and SoundCloud and all those other places. But tonight, if you want to get in on the video, you can certainly join us. We'll be doing the album chat tonight for the Vanity 6 album, which is going to be a lot of fun.
Wow.
Yeah, we're going to be talking.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about it. And I have a guest that comes with me. She's been here for the past few weeks. The beautiful wife of Bootsy Collins, Peppermint Patty, is in the house. And she is in here. And one of the reasons why she's here is because, we only have, I want to say, 2 more weeks left of donations before the September 1st deadline for this specific contest. Now, the Music Cares Challenge, this to be real specific, the Music Cares Challenge does not end until the Music Cares Challenge does not end until October 20. What's the date on that?
October 23rd.
October 23rd. I knew it was 20 something. October 23rd, which is going to be a very, very special date because that's going to be the end of the donation drive for Music Cares Challenge. And they're also going to be making tons of announcements on that date as well, including a new album release from Bootsy Collins. And oh man, it's going to be so much fun. Yes, Music Cares Challenge. Patty, do you want to tell them a little bit about what Music Cares Challenge is about?
Absolutely. So the Music Cares Challenge is called the Bootsy Collins Music Cares Stars Challenge. And we have artists from around the world who actually are making donations with their fans to raise money for Music Cares. And Music Cares, of course, helps all the musicians around the world. Not only the musicians, but also the community, the musicians community. So any donation that you make will go to Music Cares directly. And so that's about it. It's all about raising money during this COVID-19 time for our musicians.
Right. You got to think about all the years that these artists and musicians have been giving us entertainment and concerts over for our lifetimes. And now they are actually suffering during this pandemic because they have no way to put food on their tables and pay their mortgages and do all these things. So what Bootsy Collins and Funkatopia is doing with Music Cares is we are helping to drive donations. This is to no benefit of Bootsy. This is to no benefit of Funkatopia. This is specifically for the artists and entertainers through Music Cares, where we are going to help them pay some bills and just get on top of all these things. And it's going to be it's an amazing event. And we crossed over the $3,000 mark with all of you Funkatopians. Thank you guys so much. And on September 1st, we will announce the winner of the drawing for our pledge drive. But we are going, our pledge drive will go all the way till October 23rd. But on September 1st, we're stopping this drawing and then we're going to start another one. So for this drawing, we have 3 prizes, and the grand prize collection is just ridiculous right now. It's kind of insane. But before I even get any further, I want to make sure that all the people that are saying hello to you that you can't see. Arlene Oak says hello, Patty. Lenny says hey.
Hi, Arlene.
Donna says hello.
Hi, Donna.
Linda says hello. Neon says hello.
Wow. Hello, everyone.
Yes. Cammie says hello. Lucky says hello from YouTube. Elisa says hello.
Lucky.
She's on Facebook. Danielle and Andre and Susie. All these folks are saying hello to you.
Hello.
I wish that you could see this chat. It's kind of a bummer that you can't see the chat.
No,
but
I can't see it.
That's okay. Maybe there's like a setting or something. I can fix that at some point in the future, but that would be pretty awesome. But let's talk about this grand prize package. So this grand prize package is going to be, oh, wait a second. What's going on here? What's he doing? What's Patty doing? Patty's taking us on a journey here. If you're on Facebook.com.
I am so sorry. I have to grab my cord or else my phone's going to die.
That's okay. So let's talk about this grand prize challenge here. This grand prize that's going to be happening. This grand prize is amazing. So let's talk about what's in this grand prize right now. And I actually loaded all of the pictures, all of the prizes into a picture. And it's actually took a picture of everything that we have for this grand prize package, and it is ridiculous. So here is what is in this grand prize package right now so far. A pair of Bootsy Collins star glasses from Shine, a deck of Bootsy Collins playing cards, a personally autographed card from Bootsy Collins, a personally signed rare vinyl from Bootsy Collins, Earth, Wind, and Fire CD box set called The Eternal Flame, three Prince art prints from Mary A. Johnson, a book called Life and Times of Prince, that's brand new, huge hardcover book, another book from Prince, not from Prince, about Prince, called Inside the Music and Mask, also the book from Dwayne Tudor, Prince and the Purple Rain Era Studio Sessions book, 2 Prince collector magazines, an original Morris Day tour program, a Purple Prince handmade studded book bag, That came from Michelle Bryant. And so did the collector's magazines also came from Michelle Bryant. A very used Prince Let's Go Crazy 12-inch vinyl. That's just what I've been carrying around since 1985. I'm pulling it out of my collection and I'm giving it to somebody. You can't even sell it. It's like in that bad a shape. But it's the history, right? It's one of the originals. A Funkatopia hat, a Prince DVD called The Glory Days, a Club Funketeers bracelet from Bootsy, a Funkatopia sticker, a Funkatopia shirt, and a Prince symbol vinyl for your car. That is all one freaking prize.
It's amazing. Isn't that amazing?
Ridiculous.
I want that.
That is one grand prize. So, and a lot of people are asking, well, how in the world, how in the world do you enter this? All you got to do is go to givelynow.com/o/stars. Again, that's Gively Now, which is GIVE, give Lee, LY, Gively Now, NOW.com/O, the letter O/stars, and donate there. But here's the important part. That's all you got to do is donate. For every $5 that you donate, you get an entry into this contest for every $5. So if you donate 20, you get 4 entries. Donate 100, you get 20 entries. And this is a very, very important part because I don't think a lot of people are doing this. And I know the people that have are like, shh, don't tell everybody. Once you donate, you have to send the receipt to me at shout@funkatopia.com. That's shout, SHOUT, at funkatopia.com. That's FUNKATOPIA.com. shout@funkatopia.com. And then I will reply and I will tell you how many entries that you got. If you do not send me your receipt, you do not get entered into the contest. That is all there is to it. That's the most important thing. So again, givelynow.com/o/stars. And if you don't want to write it down or whatever, you can look at the Facebook post. We just put it. I actually just took a picture of the grand prize, but that grand prize is still missing some of the Bootsy stuff. We're missing the signed card. That's not in that picture. The playing cards are not in that picture. The album is not in that picture. And there's some other stuff from the other prize packages that are not in there also. Well, second prize, that was the grand prize, which was already exhausting enough to read. Yep. The second prize is 2 Prince art prints from Mary A. Johnson, a personally autographed IPA poster from Bootsy Collins, the new Prince Life and Times hardcover book, a collector's magazine from Prince, actually 3 Prince collector magazines, a Funkatopia hat, a Funkatopia sticker, and a Prince symbol vinyl for your car. That's just second place. And then third place is a personally autographed card from Bootsy Collins. So all 3 prizes get something autographed from Bootsy. Personally autographed card from Bootsy Collins, 1 Prince art print from Mary A. Johnson, 2 Prince collector magazines, a Prince symbol vinyl for your car, a Funkatopia hat, and a Funkatopia sticker. So that's a lot of prizes that you can win, and it's going to go to 3 different people, but you got to donate. givelynow.com/o/stars, and make sure that you send the receipt to me. You have to send it to shout@funkatopia.com, and I will reply and tell you how many entries that you got. So it's important that you do that because it's just important. You want to get in here, you want to win. That's what you got to do. That's what you got to do.
Sure. This is so exciting. I'm just so thrilled. I really am.
And it's been great. I mean, when you think about the fact that, we started this, we started this quite a while ago. Yep. And I think, we said, let's do this. Let's kind of move things forward. But now that we're over $3,000 mark, we added some other stuff. And Michelle Bryant, the lovely person who sent like a ton of magazines and a bunch of other things as well. She also sent like some other prizes to be added to the prize packs, more handmade book bags that have the Prince logo on them, like studded Prince logo on them, and a bunch of like a huge stack of like Prince symbol vinyls and stuff. So Michelle is throwing stuff in, and we've also got more people that are actually willing to donate too. Cammie said she wants to donate a bottle of Prince's 3121 perfume. And also we have some other people here who are also wanting, what else can we donate? And so lots of people are actually donating. So it is going to be amazing. So
amazing.
It's great. It's great. So give Bootsy our love. I know that he's in the studio right now working on his album. Can't wait to have him back on the show, but it's so great to have you in here and saying hello to everybody. I know everybody loves to see your face, Patty.
Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Christopher. We appreciate you so very much. One love to everyone. Hugs, hugs, hugs.
Hugs, hugs. You. Thank you, Patty. You have a good one. We appreciate you.
Thank you. Enjoy the show, everyone. Bye.
All right. So that was Patty. She, Cammie, I don't have your address. If you win, Cammie, I will need your address. So welcome one and all to Funkatopia Live. As you know, we are here. A lot of people were asking, you said you were, we got to the end of the album chats for Prince. I am still putting together this website for princealbums.com or albumchats.com. I have both of the domain names. I'm still putting everything together. It is not an easy task because I really kind of want to make sure that it's done right. I want to make sure that everybody is kind of getting, I want to make sure this website is done right, and we've done the album chats for every single one of Prince's albums. We skipped over some. Specifically Prince albums. We skipped over some. We skipped over the instrumental ones, for instance, like News. We skipped over Kama Sutra, and so things like that. I think One Night Alone, I think we skipped over as well. So we skipped over some of them, but for the most part, we did all of his albums, all the studio released albums we did, and we even dug a little bit deeper too. We did Chocolate Invasion and Slaughterhouse, so we did those as well. And we also skipped over Plectrum Electrum and Bria Valente. So there's a handful of albums in there that we did skip over that we will be going back and doing, but we wanted to make sure that we did something really, really special for those particular albums because we just needed to make sure that we got everything done correctly. And, outside of Prince's albums, we haven't really done any album chats for artists other than Prince's albums. And, one of the main reasons why we focused on Prince's albums is because we had access from all of our collectors and magazines and online material and books and just everything that we've known and compiled over the years, that we had all the information to kind of go with a lot of these songs. And there were some albums that were in the mix, like the Times Ice Cream Castle, that we were able to do because we had some information on some of those songs as well. So that was the one album, the Times Ice Cream Castle. It was the one album that we did outside of the Prince realm, at the Prince studio albums. And once we got a few weeks ago, we did the final album from Prince. We did Hit and Run Phase 2, and we got to the end. And we were like, well, what do we do now? What do we do now? So last week, we just kind of hung out and did a little bit of a free for all and just kind of chatted and played a bunch of music and had a good time. And that was pretty much it. We were just hanging out and just having a good time. And it came time where I really felt like I wanted to do an album chat. I wanted to do an album chat. So I went into the vault somewhat, and I picked out an album that I thought would have a lot of interesting stories. And man, was I right. This particular album that we're going to be doing tonight is the album by Vanity 6. It is the only album by Vanity 6. There was going to be a second one that they actually were recording music for that ultimately became Apollonia and Apollonia 6. So there's that. So we're going to be covering it tonight. We're going to be covering Vanity 6 in all of its glory and all the things that, come with this particular album. There's a lot of really interesting stories. There's a lot of interesting stories. Let's just leave it at that. Tons of stuff, tons of quotes and tons of stories. And it was a lot of information. The album itself, Vanity 6, is only 30 minutes long. That's no joke. It's only 30 minutes long. It is not a long story, not a long album, but with all the information that we had, it's going to be a sizable album chat because there's a lot of stories that go with Vanity and just her whole background and some of the things that were going on with some of the stories and Brenda Bennett's background and Susan's background. And in actuality, there's not a whole bunch of information on Susan herself. She was kind of, even though she was one of the more controversial characters in Vanity 6, she's supposed to be the youngest. She was marketed as a 16-year-old. So you got this 16-year-old who wasn't 16, who was kind of walking around in these white, innocent looking lingerie and carrying a teddy bear. And she was very, very controversial. She was there for shock value for sure, but there was not a whole bunch of information on Susan, but there's some interesting stories about her nonetheless. So without any further ado, if you guys are ready, I'm sure that you are. As I mentioned, you guys are listening to the show on Funked Up. You are hearing the audio version of this show. If you would like to watch the video version of this show, you're more than welcome to. You can go to our YouTube channel. You can go to youtube.com and search for Funkatopia, and you can click on Funkatopia there. You'll be able to see the live broadcast happening right now, or you can also go to facebook.com/Funkatopia, and you can actually watch it on our Facebook channel. And audio wise, this is broadcasting out to a bunch of different places as well. So Radionomy, and it will be on iHeartRadio, on iTunes, and on and on and on. So without further ado, we are going to go into the album chat for Vanity 6. So everybody get comfortable, everybody get ready. As I normally do as part of my process is I give you guys 5 to 10 seconds to just go ahead and grab your drink, take a sip of wine, take a sip of water, whatever it is. I have to do it myself because I'm about to talk for a very long time. So here we go. I'm about to take a sip. I'm going to let you guys do the same, and then we're going to go into it. And I will also preface this by saying, before I give you your 10-second sip break, that this is an adult-only show. So 18 and over, please, because 18 and over. Just because I'm not going to be using any profanity. I'm not going to be getting vulgar. I'm not going to be really kind of talking about things that aren't too inappropriate. You guys know me. That's not my shtick. But there are some things that obviously we're going to be talking about that are a little bit more risque. So if you are offended or whatever, this is probably not the show for you. But I am doing my absolute best. Again, you guys know me. I'll do my absolute best to keep it as clean as possible. There won't be any profanity, so you can bank on that, but there will be some innuendos and sexual situations that will be discussed. So if that's going to upset you or, whatever floats your boat or doesn't float your boat, if it sinks your boat, then don't be here. Anyways, that's your PSA. Thank you, Linda. That's your PSA for the day. All right, take your sip. Let's go. Here we go. Vanity 6, the first and only album by Vanity 6. It was released on August 11th, 1982. The album was produced by Prince under the pseudonym The Star Company, which was a pseudonym that he used in 1981, 1983. Production credit is listed also erroneously, as Prince Vault said, erroneously with Vanity 6. Interesting about the erroneous part, that was how it was listed in the credits, but it was an accident. So it was produced by The Star Company and Vanity 6, but Vanity 6 was not supposed to be listed as a producer. So I guess in the CD it said it one way, but on paper, as far as who gets the checks, we all know who got the checks. That was all there was about it. But Prince went all out to really kind of create this persona of Jamie Starr. Matter of fact, he created an entire backstory for Jamie Starr that he had actually given to the press. Even during an interview in 1983, Morris Day, when he was asked about Jamie, Morris was very insistent. He even said, Jamie was the engineer. Excuse me. Jamie was an engineer. He was the co-producer of our record. Of course he exists. So he had this whole entire story that he wanted, this whole thing that he wanted to create about Jamie. And Prince worked extremely hard at creating this Jamie Starr persona. And he would take little opportunity here and there to even call out Jamie Starr in various other things, like, for instance, with DMSR, the famous line, Jamie Starr is a thief. It's time to fix your clock. So there was just a lot of things that were going on in regards to Jamie Starr, and he did a lot of things to go overboard to make sure that the Jamie Starr persona was protected. Now, Jelly Bean Johnson said, I don't know the reasoning behind it. It worked, obviously, at least for him, and that's how he wanted it. He could have easily come out and said, yeah, I did that, but he didn't want to do that. He had a picture of Jamie Starr with him and Morris Day at the soundboard. It was hilarious. And then engineer Peggy McCreary said the time was a lot of Prince, and so was Vanity 6. Prince would do most of the stuff and then bring someone in for one part. He'd sing most of the lyrics and then just have whoever just replace it. But it was him. It was his genius. He'd always put Jamie Starr's name on it, but it was all just a game. So Prince was just starting this crazy wave of huge creative output that would churn out hundreds of songs in the next 10 years. And excitingly, 60 plus, what was the count? 63 of which are going to end up being on the Sign of the Times Super Deluxe album. So we're going to be getting tons of new music from Prince coming in, what is it, September, October? I can't even remember the date. I'm awaiting. I ordered it, so we'll hopefully see it soon. Anyways, at this time, though, he was heading out on his Controversy tour, and he was also about to push out the Times' second album, What Time Is It? And according to Morris Day, he became obsessed with creating a girl group, and it was primarily based on watching the movie Stars Born, the original with Streisand and Christopherson, not the one with Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga, but he was obsessed with the fact of how Christopherson's character managed this woman's success as a rock star. I mean, the Lady Gaga version of this movie was basically the same premise, but he was just kind of obsessed with that process of being able to take somebody from obscurity and be able to put them up on a pedestal and really kind of make them just take it to the next level for them. However, Andre Simone said that wasn't really where he didn't conflict with Morris said. He said that this was a discussion that Prince and Andre had on a regular basis about creating a girl group. And Andre had actually gotten together a girl group, and he had put the group together. He had written some songs for them. He was trying to get a deal for them. And he said, I put a girl group together. I was trying to get them a deal. And then once again, Prince got Vanity 6 out before my girl group. So Prince and Andre were doing the same thing, but Prince had a little bit of a benefit of the Warner Brothers contract that had a little stipulation in it that allowed him to be able to sign new acts whenever he wanted to, whenever he wanted to. Anyways, the original group was called The Hookers. That featured his manager at the time, Jamie Shoup, who worked with Cavallo, Ruffalo, and Fargnoli, Susan Moonsey, who Prince was dating at the time, and her sister, Laureen Moonsey. And so he started creating these tracks for that group like back in 1981. But then, of course, he set off on his Controversy tour. And just because of everything that was going on with that, it just eventually just got shelved, just temporarily, until he was able to kind of get some things together. As luck would have it, though, as Prince was out and about doing his tour and kind of going here, there, and everywhere with Rick James, he laid eyes on a woman by the name of Denise Matthews, who was Rick James' date at the American Music Awards in 1980. And obviously Prince saw Denise and he just swooped in and did his thing. He even tried to get Denise away from Rick James that very night. Rick James and Denise Matthews were on a date, and Prince tried to steal his date away from him that very night. She said, he wanted me to take him to the washroom, she recalled. His manager came up to me and says, this guy Prince wants to know if you could take him to the bathroom. And I said, ain't that a line and a half? So here's Rick James and Vanity, wasn't Vanity at the time, Denise, on a date at the American Music Awards, and Prince wants to get Denise away from Rick just momentarily, just so he can kind of, do his magic or whatever it is that he's going to do. And he sends his manager over to ask Denise, hey, Prince wants to know if you can take him to the bathroom. What a weird thing to say. Anyways, Denise said, I didn't know who Prince was. I'd been in Japan working and I didn't know he was famous and a brilliant musician, so I wasn't attracted to any of that. In fact, she thought he was gay at first because he wanted to try on her clothes during the first conversation that they ever had. She said he took off his jacket and asked me if I would take off mine. And I remember saying, why? And he said, so I can try on yours and you can try on mine. It was only after they started going out, she told Jones, that she realized that he definitely was not gay. So there's that. She said, I didn't go home right away. He called me. We dated. It was all very romantic. He didn't even know I wanted to sing until he heard me one day. And then he helped me put a group together. And of course, that group at the time was the Hookers, for sure. And I want to make sure that we're moving along just like we need to be doing here. Anyways, so she didn't trust him on the first date. Matter of fact, on that first date, they double dated with Morris Day and his girlfriend at the time. And she said, I had insisted on a double date because I didn't know if I could trust Prince. Then we began to see one another and he asked me to come out and see him on the road. And a few days later, Prince's guitarist Des Dickerson recalled, and there she was on the bus on the road with us. And little did she know that the group he would put together obviously would be the Hookers, was already in place. But then during the tour, a second piece fell into place when, as the Controversy tour was coming to a close, Brenda Bennett, who was the wife of the lighting director, Roy Bennett, happened to be backstage singing a Stevie Nicks tune. And she said, I didn't notice that Prince was paying attention, but he turned the tape off in the middle of her singing. He turned the tape off and looked at me and said, you could be the other hooker. She said, I looked at him and said, what are you talking about? And he told me about the group. She then asked, does it have to be the Hookers? Anyways, so now he had the three pieces in place that he needed. And when he got back from the tour, Vanity and Brenda Bennett were put in place, replacing Jamie Shoup and Laureen Moonsey. At that point, it was still the Hookers, and he had planned to call Denise by the name Vagina. Glad he came to his senses. But Vanity recalls Prince telling her his plan, and he said, people will know you nationwide. And she said, no kidding. Obviously they will. And actually, if you think about it, back in the 80s, if Prince would have done that, we probably would have not thought anything about it. I mean, I know personally in 1983, I was 15 years old. So actually I was 16 years old in 1983. I probably would not have thought of anything. I probably wouldn't have made a difference to me one way or the other. I would have thought, oh, it's Prince. It's awesome. It's magical. I wouldn't have thought anything about it, but it is what it is. Anyways, due to a popular vote, however, they changed the name from the Hookers to Vanity 6. There was never any explanation as to why it wasn't Vanity 3. It was just Vanity 6. There was never any explanation as to that. It was Prince. He was going to call it Vanity 6, even though there was only 3 of them. So there's that. And obviously the other change that he made was he also opted to call Denise Vanity instead of Vagina, which is great. So when Vanity was asked why he named her Vanity instead, she said, you'd have to ask Prince why he named me Vanity, but I think the main reason is that when he looks in the mirror, he sees me. So she was basically saying that she was the female version of him, and that's kind of how Prince looked at her. Prince also wanted to create a little bit of a controversy and freak people out a little bit more. So he went about creating this marketing spin where he said that Vanity was 19 and that Susan Moonsey was 16, when in reality, they were 23 and 20. So both of them were over 20 years old. but Prince was telling him 19 and 16 just to kind of freak people out a little bit. And when you see Susan Moonsey and she's walking around in all white and she looks innocent and she's carrying around this teddy bear and you're told that she's 16 and she's singing these songs that she's singing, you kind of get a little freaked out. So there's that. Anyways, matter of fact, I just saw a Jet magazine from January of 1983 when I was in the middle of doing this research. And matter of fact, I actually pulled a picture from that. It was Vanity and Morris Day dancing, and I put that up on Facebook. But what was interesting about it is that they were talking. I guess they were talking to the girls individually, and they had them sitting in a room, and they said Vanity 19 and Susan Moonsey 16. So even at this point with the media, they were still pumping out this teenager thing that was going on, and this is nothing new. I mean, it was just because. Cammie Mattingly says, I thought I heard it was Vanity 6 because they had 6 breasts between them. That may be it. Yes. And then Linda also mentions 3 times 2 is 6. The Vanity 3 part, I think the reason that that even came up and that I even put it in here was because that Morris had listed it in his book. So I thought, that's a pretty neat thing to bring up, but and Morris probably didn't think much beyond that, just like I did. So there you go. Anyways, Roy Bennett, Brenda's husband, said the girls would stay out at Prince's house. Susan had her own place there. So it was basically Vanity and Brenda staying at the house, and they used to go roller skating together, and they'd go out shopping for their outfits at Dayton's. And as I mentioned earlier, you have to remember Susan Moonsey was Prince's girlfriend at the time, even though there were tons. I don't know if anybody out there has read Big Chick's book, his Huntsberry's book called White Slave, where he's talking about being a slave to cocaine. But he also has lots of Prince stories in there, and a lot of Prince stories involve everybody waiting on the bus and him going up to the room and trying to figure out where Prince is at. And he walks into the room and Prince and Vanity are in the shower doing things. And so there's lots of stories of Prince and Vanity, lots of those. So it's, it is what it is. So that all being said, all that stuff was going on during the Triple Threat Tour. And his longtime engineer, Susan Rogers, who we all know and love and respect because of everything that she's done for Prince production-wise over the years, she said, as he began to get successful, there were a lot of women. Susan, at a young age, was smart enough to know that this was not a man that you were going to be able to keep for yourself. But she's a gracious woman, and she stayed around anyways. So, yeah, I would honestly have to say if any woman was dating Prince and went through the process of getting into a band that was set up by Prince, that was obviously going to have somewhat reasonable success with Prince behind it and his music behind it. If you were dating him and then he went off on tour for some months, probably the better part, 6 months or whatever it was, and then came back and he brought back 2 women, one of which he was actively dating and having sexual relations with. And she was there to kind of replace your sister and another friend that you had just grown close with that was also supposed to be in this band called the Hookers. And so now you're his girlfriend, but now his new girlfriend is in the band with you. And it's just hats off to Susan Moonsey because she obviously knew what the big rock and roll picture was in the early stages of Prince's career and was not about to just kind of just hats off to Susan. I don't even know where to even start in that whole mess, but it's just anyways, according to April says, I read Susan was his high school sweetheart, along with the late Kim Upshur. Yeah, that's very, very, it's as Shanika says, messy AF. That is absolutely, it's just insane. Anyways, so yeah, she stayed around anyways. All of that created a bit of the behind the scenes drama as well. As I mentioned, I'm a little bit surprised that Susan stayed in place, but in live situations, I'm actually surprised that Susan, as mentioned, if she was his high school sweetheart, I don't remember that being the case. It could well have been. she had to obviously have a special place in Prince's heart for, and he didn't want to kick her out of the band. But from what I understand, there was a lot of, in the live situations, there were situations where Jill Jones was actually singing Susan Moonsy's parts behind the curtain. The Time was not only playing their music behind the curtain when Vanity 6 was performing, but apparently Jill Jones was also backstage behind the curtain singing some of Susan Moonsy's parts. And I read that somewhere and I put that in the notes, but there was only one place that I could ever find that reference. So I could not verify whether or not that was true or not. But that's like a little bit interesting side note that, Susan Moonsey was, doing a lot of lip syncing for some of the actual singing vocal parts. There were other things that were going on with the whole process that, there were some skits that were being done that don't really require, singing. So there was some live stuff that she was doing, but, there was just a lot of weirdness going on in that whole process. Anyways, Brenda Bennett was the only one in the band, which wasn't solidified yet, to be an actual performer. So she had actually played in a band called Ken Lyon and the Tombstone Blues Band, and they were signed to CBS Records. And so she actually had a lot of history and a lot of just, she was an active singer. And if anybody's ever heard Brenda sing, she's a phenomenal singer. She's really, really good. So she was kind of put in a little bit of a take charge place to do a little bit of training with Vanity and Susan, kind of get them up to par, kind of help them out with some of the stage presence stuff, and just kind of work with them in general. She was from Scotland and had sang, as I mentioned, in bands. So she was already an active performer. And because of that, she ultimately became the unsung leader of the band, and just essentially to teach the other two about singing. Brenda said, "I was the den mother to everyone. Prince told me to babysit the girls and mold them so they could rely on me to show them the ropes." She said, "Susan was like a sponge when it came to singing and entertaining. She picked up everything so quickly." Her husband, Roy Bennett, said there was quite often friction between Brenda and Vanity, though. It was personalities. It was based on the fact that Brenda was oftentimes set up to babysit Vanity as far as making sure she could sing and vocal stuff, and in rehearsals, making Brenda responsible for that. And it was very difficult because Vanity saw herself as the one in charge. So you've got Prince telling Brenda, "You're the one in charge," and you have Vanity saying, "Well, it's my band." So it was hard. And Prince also put them to work doing other things as well. For instance, singing background vocals on the Times material, like doing the background vocals on the song like The Walk. And the album was supported by the group when they went on tour with him to open up for Prince on the 1999 tour, as I mentioned, which, by the way, is the first concert from Prince that I personally ever saw. A friend of my mother's happened to have an extra ticket to the 1999 show, Triple Threat, in Atlanta. I was a little familiar with Prince's work from Controversy and was kind of, I was a little bit familiar with it, but I was not familiar with Vanity, and I really wasn't familiar with The Time. And it was one of my first shows that I had seen, and it was just so much eye candy going on. There was so much light and purple, and just everybody seemed to be on like this high energy level. And then you had these girls dressed in lingerie, which, it was, I was a teenager and was like, what's happening? And then you had these really cool, funky guys that were dressed all in suits. And it was just a lot to take in. It was a lot to absorb. And I can honestly say that I remember not staying for the entire show, not because we left, but because, I would say, "Oh, I'm going to go get a Coke." And then I would walk out. And so I didn't appreciate everything that was going on. That would change once Prince came out and I really began to appreciate what he was doing. And I started listening to his music more. Then when he came back in town for the Purple Rain tour, he did 5 shows in Atlanta, and I was at 3 of those shows. So that totally changed. But while I was present at the 1999 tour, I was not present in my head on the 1999 tour, which I very much regret. But I think I was a young teenager, so I wasn't I just wasn't absorbing it like that. I was more absorbing the eye candy than I was really the music. And then as that started to change and I really started to appreciate everything that was going on, it totally did change for me. But there are plenty of stories about this tour, in particular, the Triple Threat Tour, around all the ridiculousness that was going on, all the fights, everything that was just happening behind the scenes, the handcuffing of Jesse to, it was all kinds of things that were going on. And I guess the time was having a big issue because of the fact that they were having to play behind the curtain for Vanity 6. Now, granted, they were only playing behind the curtain for 5 songs, 5. And there were, but so you're not talking about like a whole bunch of performance time, but it was still, they kind of felt like they were doing double duty. According to Morris Day in his book, they got paid $250 extra to play behind Vanity 6, behind the curtain, but they were not happy about being behind the curtain. The time didn't have issues with the group themselves, just really kind of about the pay scale. Jellybean Johnson said, Vanity, Susan, and Brenda, they were really nice to me. They treated me nice. And for the most part, they were nice to the guys in the time. It was just principle. I mean, come on, man. That was the whole thing. He just didn't want to pay for a band. He wanted to have us. And that's another way to keep it under control and quiet. I'm sure that was the thinking behind that. And management was backing him 100%. That's what it was about. Obviously, the reason why management's behind you is because ultimately management's going to have to try to make arrangements around another band as well and be responsible for another band. And they don't want to do that. And so if another band can come into the mix and be able to play, well, so be it. There you go. That's really all that matters. Anyways, Morris did eventually come to grips with it in his book, speaking posthumously to Prince. And he said, we felt we were being hidden, but you dug it because it was good for the show. When Vanity 6 sang their 5-song set, the curtains parted, and right then and there, the time could start throwing down. As for the review of the band, almost all of the reviews were focused on the marketing gimmick instead of the music. The Louisville Courier-Journal said, the women gyrated around the stage, much to the delight of the males in the crowd, and the ones that did talk about the music weren't always friendly. A paper in Baltimore called him a pointless novelty. The Hartford Courant said, no one yelled encore when they were through. And some were straight out mean, like this paper in Pittsburgh that just simply said, Vanity stinks. And then they took it to the next level and said, they moan and they prance and they pant and they rap and they breathe asthmatically. This is supposed to be sexy. They wear frilly lingerie. They step, skip, and march in unison like minor league rockettes. They bend over and wiggle their fannies at the fans. Do you think I'm a nasty girl? Vanity asked during the song called Nasty Girl. Yes, all 3 of you are, for pretending you have talent and charging people money to find out you don't. Ouch. That's not a great review, but that's somebody who obviously is a little bit of a old guy curmudgeon. You can probably think that this guy is maybe somebody that's working for the Pittsburgh paper that was told to kind of come out to this show and review the show and sit down there and kind of watch everything and just kind of watch it all and just take it all in. And he was probably in his 50s or in his 60s, and this wasn't doing anything for him. And certainly if he was under the impression that these girls were 19 and 16, and he's a father that has daughters the exact same age, he's probably not really happy about what he's witnessing. So you could probably get a little bit of an idea where this reviewer was probably coming from. I cannot imagine that anybody that was under 30 that could actually appreciate what was going on musically with the phenomenal work that the band was doing behind Vanity 6. The musically was phenomenal. And yes, if you couldn't appreciate the fact that it was a marketing gimmick, that's something that's on you. That's the reality of it. That's on you. That's not on the band. That's not on the girls. This is what they're there for entertainment purposes. So you're blowing yourself out. That's just all there is to it. Anyways, internally, internally, like within the Purple Circle, there was also some debate about the value of the band in general. Some took them seriously on the outer shell without looking much into what was happening. But then there were others like Alan Leeds and many of us here that truly saw what was going on. Just like I had explained, Alan said they were three girls who took what they were doing seriously enough to spend an awful lot of time and energy trying the best to figure out how to best entertain the audience. Their motives were pure and they worked really hard. So I have a little bit of a problem dismissing them as strippers, because the reality is that compared to what's going on today in rap, they are pretty safe. So I would have to absolutely agree with Alan Leeds on this case. Anyways, that all being said, the album clocked in just over 30 minutes, but not because of a lack of material. There were plenty of other songs that were supposed to be on this album, like Mink Kitty Cat, not Velvet Kitty Cat. I said Mink Kitty Cat. Yes, there was a song called Mink Kitty Cat. It's not the same as Velvet Kitty Cat. I've never heard Mink Kitty Cat, but it's out there. It could have been Velvet Kitty Cat, but it was a little bit different. It had something else going on, but Mink Kitty Cat, Gym Class, I Need a Man, which is actually going to be on the Sign of the Times Super Deluxe edition when it comes out. Jealous Girl also is going to be on Sign of the Time, if I remember correctly. Pizza, Money Don't Grow on Trees, which was already released, and many others. And according to Brenda, Prince spews songs so fast and he didn't want to overexpose the public to too much stuff. It was underexposure for overexposed girls. Basically leaving them wanting more is basically what it boiled down to. Due to the album's explicit lyrics, the album only reached number 45 on US Billboard Pop Chart, but reached number 6 on the US Billboard Black Chart. And of course, Prince is once again pushing the envelope. Every single album that he released, he was pushing the envelope just to see exactly how far he could push this. How far could he go? What could he do to kind of make people get a little bit more riled up? What could he do that would just kind of just move the needle just a little bit further? But because do not forget, the reason why we have part of the reason why we have parental advisory stickers on albums today from the PMRC, which is the Parents Music Resource Center, is because of a woman named Tipper Gore, who sparked off the whole entire thing by happening to walk into her daughter's room while her daughter, Tipper Gore, wife of then Vice President Al Gore, who walked into her daughter's room, who happened to be playing Darling Nikki. And she walked in during the part where she's masturbating in the lobby with a magazine, and she lost it. She obviously just lost it. And she put together a group of concerned parents and obviously very, very right-wing conservative folks and came up with the PMRC. And they decided that they were going to put together stickers to place on albums that had inappropriate content. And artists were just ecstatic about it, because whenever a sticker got put onto an album, they could pretty much guarantee that they were going to have about 20% more sales just because of that sticker being on their album. And it all started with a list that was called the Filthy 15. And one of those Filthy 15 was Prince's Darling Nikki. So you can certainly look it up, look for PMRC Filthy 15, and you'll be able to see the list. Most of the songs that are on that list are hard rock bands. I mean, there was Motley Crue on there, Judas Priest was on there, but Prince was obviously on there with Darling Nikki. Sheena Easton, Sugar Walls was on there. Also, Vanity song was on. One of Vanity's songs was on there, not Vanity 6, one of Vanity songs. It's a really funny story, but the fact of the matter is it's there. So here we are. That is the background story to Vanity 6, the album itself. And now, somebody, April also mentioned Madonna was on that list, and Cyndi Lauper's She Bop was also on that album, because She Bop is basically talks about female masturbation. So there's that. So I guess it was basically the parents are just totally out of control about this whole process and just protecting their children from hearing things, because obviously these parents, I don't know where they went to high school, but I can tell you about my high school experiences, and I'm sure that you could tell me about your high school experiences. And most of what we learned, the naughty bits, were there at the high school. It wasn't because of what we're hearing on the albums. Although I will say, I still remember to this day sitting in my room listening to 1999 on vinyl. I had it on my record player. I was listening to it. I was living in Georgia at the time. And I had, obviously I was at the concert, and I still remember hearing Lady Cab Driver for the first time. And I couldn't, I literally was holding my breath the whole entire song because I was a teenager. I was a young teenager. I wasn't 10 years beyond that. Most of these folks were, as far as Prince's generation were 10 years ahead of me. I was a teenager at the time, and some of you weren't even born yet. This was 1983. So I still remember listening to Lady Cab Driver and like holding my breath the whole time going, oh my God, what am I listening to? And it's just one of those songs. And one of those albums, really, I mean, not all of the albums. It was still a good bit of, it was what it was. All right. So let's talk about the individual songs and actually play some music, because we are an ASCAP licensed radio station. So what would we do if we wasted that licensing on just talking the whole friggin' time? So let's break this down, shall we? That is your background information of historical data regarding Vanity 6. Now let's talk about the individual songs, starting with the opening track, and the one that's probably got the most attention, is the most controversial, the one and only song, Nasty Girl. Yes, that song. The opening track is the biggest hit off of this album for sure. The basic tracking of this song took place in March of 1982 at Prince's Kiowa Trail home studios in Chanhassen. It was released as the first single from the album about 6 weeks after it was released. And actually, there was some debating information. I think I was cross-referencing one of these books that I was kind of going through some information. Dwayne Tudall's book actually had a bunch of information too, but Prince Ball, and there was just some contradicting things saying that Nasty Girls was the first single, and then somebody else that's another song was. So it was a single. Let's put it that way. It was released 6 weeks after the album was, and it comes out swinging with his legendary Lynn LM1 drum machine, but it also has some alternate lives in 2 other decades. I mean, this song is so powerful and so much of a powerhouse in how it ground broke just the sound. That if you think about 1999 and controversy in general, the sound that Prince was able to create, there was funk music, but this was something different. And it started with Controversy. And there was some components of it on Dirty Mind, but on Controversy, he really toned in and he really zoomed in on this more keyboard focused synthesizer. It was just something that was different than nobody else was doing. And he was able to create an entire whole genre of music around it. Now, granted, as his albums moved forward, he would grow and those instruments would expand and certain other elements were brought in. But for the most part, he created a sound that nobody else had ever created before. And there were tons of artists that had tried to replicate what he was doing. I mean, I could go down a laundry list of them, and we've all heard some of the stuff that's out there. A lot of people tried to replicate his sound, but not many people were able to do it. But this song was so powerful that it actually had a presence in 2 other decades. In 1996, it was on Spike Lee's soundtrack for his movie Girl 6. Another 6. It's a fascination with the sixes. Then in 2001, it got a mention in the song Hot With You on his album Raven to the Joy Fantastic. And then it was covered by Anaya Day in 2004 and reached the top 20 in Australia. So she covered it. And there was also some other mixes too. I also did like a Beyonce mix as well. So this song has ultimately stood the test of time without a shadow of a doubt. Not to mention its own decade in the 80s, where it happened to land a spot on the soundtrack for the movie Private School in 1983, and also Beverly Hills Cop in 1984. So that song was everywhere. So he found a recipe and it worked, and it was a fantastic opening track for sure. The girls didn't benefit much monetarily, even though the song was a big and lasting hit, because many years later, Vanity had commented in 2013 during an interview. She said, "I was only getting $250 a week and I had a hit song out. I was performing for thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people a month, but I wasn't getting paid for any concert tours, nothing. So Prince was taking all of that money, and I thought, you know what? This is adding up to nothing. I'm living in a hotel and I didn't even have an apartment." So she was a little bit upset about the scenario, and I probably could see that as well. I probably could understand what their process is. It's important to remember. It's important to remember that they only were performing like 5 songs, and it's also important to remember that it wasn't their song. They were performing music from other art. It's from another artist. So there's like a whole bunch of other components to this, but I don't know. I can't even remember what $250 a week may have looked like in the 80s, or what that would have, amounted to. I can't imagine too much if you're playing to thousands or hundreds of thousands of people, but there are tons of other expenses that go with touring and everything when you're paying all these people and lighting people and sound people and all the people that are tearing everything down and the people that are making sure that your hotels and everything. I can't even process money for music production folks. I can't. It makes sense to me. I mean, it definitely makes sense as far as how the artists make a bulk of their money when they go out and tour. But when I start when I even try to attempt to do numbers in my head, especially some of these acts that go into these venues that only seat like a few hundred, I don't know. I don't understand how you make ends meet. I don't, because after you pay for the cost of the venue, which is a very, very exorbitant cost, just so we're clear, because normally you have to pay the venue, and there's a rent that happens for staffing and everything else. So it's a lot. It's just a lot to take in. But anyways, all that being said, it did top the US dance charts in 1982, and it was a very dirty song when you think about the time frame of it in the early 80s. I mean, there were other risque songs and whatnot, but that was just kind of one of those things. But there is one thing, and this, I don't know if it bothers anybody else. Maybe it's just me, but there is one thing in this song that bothers me to death. And every time I hear it, it's like nails on a chalkboard. And I'm hoping it's just me. I'm hoping it's just me, but anyways, it's the production edit towards the end of the word, not towards the end of the song, on the word everybody. Maybe some of you out there already know what it is I'm talking about, but something happened. I don't know if there was something vocally where maybe the part was sung too fast, or maybe the song was sung differently or something. And they had to take the vocal and scrunch it down, but it has it's here. Let me actually play it for you. Okay. I'm going to play it for you. Here you go. Take a listen to this. This is the part that irritates me like nails on a chalkboard, and see if you remember this part. Here we go. That part. I'll play that part. I'll play it again. Oh, no. Nope. That's the actual song. I'm gonna play the everybody part again. Hold on a second. I'll play the everybody part one more time for you. Hold on. I hate that. I hate that part. That part is just annoying to me. I don't, oh my gosh, everybody. I don't know why. That's like nails on a chalkboard to me. I have no idea. I don't know. I don't know why that bothers me so much, but and maybe it's because everything else about the song is perfect, but it just sounds warped or something. Everybody. I don't know. Anyways, please tell me I'm not alone. There's got to be somebody else. There's got to be somebody else that has heard that. I don't know. In the song, it gets dirty quick, but that was Prince's, obviously hypersexualized marketing gimmick. Vanity asked that he be able to do it anywhere, even on the limousine floor, and that she had to have 7 inches or more. And Vanity told Jet Magazine, "It's a shame that people make a big deal out of it when women deal with sexual themes in songs," Vanity stated. "It doesn't mean we're loose or perverts. We can deal with these themes in songs just like men." It did ultimately create an image of her for the audience that she was never really able to shake for sure. She said, "Prince created the whole Vanity 6 image. I lied and said it was the image that I wanted, but I wanted an old Diana Ross type of image." And then after she became a born-again Christian, she told an interviewer, "I remember looking the word vanity up in the dictionary. It said worthless, lack of real value, trivial, pointless. Oh yes, I was learning to love myself. I was told it's wonderful. Just get out there, take off all your clothes and run around naked and people will love you and give you money. And when I look back at vanity, I just think, oh, you poor thing." And we had an interview not too long ago where we spoke with Brown Mark, and he kind of said a little bit of the same thing. He said this was kind of like Prince's vision. And Prince had this vision about how he wanted to put this over-sexualized version of women out there because he knew how much sex sold. And he was absolutely right. And, Brown Mark was a little bit uncomfortable with it. Obviously, Vanity was a little bit uncomfortable with it. But all that being said, he played to the lowest common denominator and people just ate it up. I ate it up. Everybody ate it up. It was just, Brown Mark mentioned that it really was not something he was proud of. But he was there to watch a lot of it unfold. But let's just face it. This song was huge. This song was everywhere. And it's, rightfully so, because it was pretty friggin' awesome. And so there's some issues as far as naming the first and last time this song was ever performed. When we're guesting as Vanity 6, the first time it was played was October 21st, 1982 in Detroit, Michigan. And then the first performance as part of a Prince show during the Vanity 6 opening act, but no Prince input, was November 11th, 1982 at the Soldiers and Sailors Memorial Auditorium in Chattanooga. And then there was a clip that was played for the first time, was August 11th, 2007 in the O2 Arena in London. And then, of course, March 22nd, 2016 and Montreal, Quebec, Canada, a clip during the sampler set. It's Vanity on lead vocals, Brenda Bennett on vocals, Susan Moonsey on vocals, Prince on all instruments, but of course credited as the time. So here we are. We're going to play it now. Finally, don't worry. I'll wake you when it's done. You won't be the only one having fun. Here it is. Nasty Girl right here on Funkatopia. Hello, everybody. I know that's a lot of talking. Got a lot of stuff going on here. As I said, we're migrating stuff out of my office and whatnot. So it's just, yeah, Biggie. You're right. April said Biggie Smalls actually sampled Nasty Girl as well. Yeah, Lenny, you're right. This song played everywhere all the time. Matter of fact, in the 80s in Atlanta, they had this, they have these things that I don't know if they even have them around anymore. I don't think they do because teenagers are a little bit different now, but they had these places called teenage clubs, called teen clubs. And essentially you could come into this club if you were like 19 and under. So between 19 and 13, you were able to go into these clubs and hang out and listen to music and dance. And they had this stuff playing everywhere. If I was old enough to go into clubs at this point, which I was in the later 80s, but this part of the 80s I was not. And I just, sometimes we would sneak into clubs and they would be playing in there. So it was everywhere. I don't know what I just shut off. I didn't. Yeah, I did. Yeah, Michelle, I did shut this off for a second. I shut this off because I had to say something off camera. So not off camera. I was on camera, but I had to say it off microphone. Anyways, um, what's your problem? You want to say hello? You know, I've been talking about my daughter and her slime business on 2georgiagirls.com, which is amazing. It's been, you know, she's been doing phenomenally well. There's been a lot of people that have come in. There are still a bunch of slime that she's actually created. We've got 6 different types of slime, and this like the therapeutic slime, and it's awesome. Do I even have any? Oh yeah. See, I'm lucky because I live here, so I get these massive. You know, maybe I'm thinking, you know, we should actually make some of this in this kind of quantity. This kind of quantity right here. You guys don't get this quantity. They come in 8-ounce tins, but this quantity is amazing. But this is a lavender one, and it is just unreal. You just sit and just play with it. It's like therapeutic slime. It's just insane. It's so good. But yeah, it has hemp seed oil in it, argan oil, and a bunch of other stuff. And this is my special one that she created. That's like a light purple, and it's got like a bunch of little purple beads in it and stuff. And it's really, really cool. But we're doing a bunch of other things, and she's apparently made a new batch. What's this new batch? What is this? Oh, so she made a brand new batch of the Tangerine one, which is insane. Tangerine is scented with Indian Nag Champa and hemp seed oil and argan oil, and also there's some other, and tangerine, obviously. And it's just, she's got a brand new batch of that, and it's just, this therapeutic slime is just incredible. So it's slime that you can actually play with. But if you need to wake up, or you're feeling tired, or you want to get some rest, or you just want to kind of zone out, you can just play with it, and just it's great. It's fantastic. So if you want to order some of that, she does have some limited stock left. I know that they're planning on making some more, but 2georgiagirls.com, TWO georgiagirls.com. So there's that. Yeah. So there's that. Everybody. I don't know why. I am sorry if I pointed that out to anybody, because it's just something that sticks out to me every time I hear that song. Everybody. I don't know why. It just stuck out to me the first time I heard it, and I just couldn't even. Yeah. I can't believe all these people. Maisha says it is warped 0. That's what makes it analog. I cannot believe I'm the only one who heard it. All right, we got 19 seconds before we do the next song. Oh my gosh. I can't believe you guys have left me alone on this one. That's ridiculous. All right, hold on a second. And that was Nasty Girl, the opening track to Vanity 6's album, Vanity 6, the only album that they would release, which brings us to song number 2. If you're just joining us, or if you happen to join us in that first hour, we were rambling on and on and on about the album. You have entered the album chat for the album Vanity 6. We do these album chats where we talk about individual albums and just go over them track by track. We play all the tracks, but we also talk a little bit about the history, what was going on, and a bunch of other songs that kind of, go on in the background. This, we actually finished all of Prince's albums, and we decided to go backwards in time now and kind of capture some of the stuff that Prince did for other artists. We've already covered the Times Ice Cream Castle. We did that months ago in the middle of the Prince albums that we were doing. And then we decided we're going to come back and we're going to do Vanity 6 now. And probably the next one we'll cover will probably be The Family. And then maybe we'll go into the Times. What time is it? This is a lot of stuff to carry, a lot of stuff to cover, but we're going to do it. And I hope that you will be along for the ride. But you're listening to the album chat right now for Vanity 6's album, Vanity 6, the only album that they did. And here it is, song number 2, which is Wet Dream. 5 months after the album was released, it was included as a B-side on the UK 12-inch of He's So Dull, which was the album's 3rd single. And basic tracking took place in the summer of 1981, once again at Prince's Kiowa Trail home studio in Chanhassen. And they did that recording right around the same time as Drive Me Wild and I Need a Man and Makeup, which was also on here, but additionally, I Need a Man, which is coming out on the Sign of the Times Super Deluxe Edition. So we'll be able to actually get an opportunity to hear that. I've tried I contacted every bootlegger I know to try to get a hold of that, and I couldn't find it anywhere. So I tried. You know, I always do my best to make sure that I come up with tons of surprises for you guys, but it just wasn't able to pull that off. I do have a surprise for you about this song, but it's not that. It's not that, because that doesn't really have anything to do with the song anyway. So there you go. Anyways, originally planned for the album The Hookers, not Vanity 6, but the Hookers album, which was abandoned in fall of 1981. But in 1982, Vanity and Brenda's vocals were then added to this. And there was a track planned for Vanity 6's second album that was kind of going to be tied to this, I guess, in a way, that was called Wet Dream Cousin. And the tracks really aren't related. They're the same feel, but that's really kind of about it. But I will play you a little clip of Wet Dream Cousin right now. That's one of the surprises for here. Check this out. It's Wet Dream Cousin. We'll just play about a minute of it, and then I'll finish telling you about Wet Dream, and we'll play that song. Here's Wet Dream Cousin right here. Cheers, everybody. Cheers. Cheers. Tanya. Everybody. Everybody. So that kind of gives you a little bit of an idea of Wet Dream Cousin. And again, the songs really don't have much to do with each other, but that was actually going to be on Vanity 6's second album that ended up not happening. Eventually became Apollonia 6's album. But that song, I can't remember what song. I don't remember the track listing and all that stuff. So it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter at all. Anyways, this song, Wet Dream, it's also dirty as well. It's a little bit more tongue in cheek about how she's saying what she's saying. Things like, they were very, very tongue in cheek with the verbiage on this. And they were kind of talking a little bit about the lyrics and the double entendres that they were using. For instance, when she says, "My lips start shaking when I see him walking down the street." Slyly, she's not talking about the lips on her face. Was one of the things that was kind of deciphered. The other thing was, I know he could deliver the dam to my river anytime. Anyways, apparently he's the number one star to her Wet Dream. And the song is pretty straightforward in a lot of things, but there's a lot of innuendos there, a lot of double entendres. So there's that. It's always fun to kind of, find out a lot of these things. It makes you hear the songs differently. Because now when you guys hear Nasty Girl, you're always going to hear everybody. You're always going to hear that now. And for that, I apologize. On this version, it's Vanity on lead vocals, Brenda Bennett on vocals, Susan Moonsey on vocals, and Prince on all instruments, but credited as the first time this song was played was October 23rd, 1982 at the Crampton Auditorium at the Howard University in Washington, D.C. during Vanity 6's solo show. And then the last time was November 11th, 1982 at Soldiers and Sailors Memorial Auditorium in Chattanooga. And that's the first performance as part of a Prince show during Vanity 6 opening. No Prince input. It was the time playing behind the curtain. But that kind of gives you an idea of how short the life was on this song. Because I don't know if you paid attention to those dates. October 23rd, 1982, first time. November 11th, 1982, the last time. So this song was never even played live more than a month. I mean, barely. You probably do it's like 2 weeks. There was like a 2-week period of time between the first and last time it was ever played. So there's that. Here you go. It's Wet Dream, the song that is the second one on this album chat, Vanity 6. Wet Dream, right here on the Funkatopia radio show and Funked Up. Enjoy. So Wet Dream Cousin is kind of a slowed down version. It's kind of similar. Anyways. Maisha is talking, it's almost 40 years later, and now they're freaking out about WAP. And I think Funkenberry had actually put up a picture of Vanity 6, and he said the original WAP, which I thought was funny. Anyways, King of the Metaphor. Cammy said she missed a bunch. Her mom called. Yeah, you probably did, but it's okay. We're only on song 2. This song's got 8 songs. This album's got 8 songs on it, so you're good. We're gonna be here a while. Chill. You're good. You're fine, Cammy. Rodney, what's going on, brother? Good to see you. Rodney's in the house. I also saw Tony Halliburton's in the house too. My good buddy Tony Halliburton. Out of everybody in this room, and even in this room in my house, that brother right there, Tony Halliburton, has known me since I was. Tony, I don't know how long we've known each other, man. I know we've known each other for about 30 years, probably. I would say it's safe that 30 plus years I've known Tony Halliburton. Brother's one of the best bass players in the state of Georgia. Salute to Mr. Tony Halliburton. We played in a band together many, many, many moons ago, decades ago, called New Reality. And Tony is one of the baddest bassists on the planet. Tony, it's good to see you in the house, brother. I always love to see my good friends, the ones that have all the secrets. They maintain the secret vault. Tony, it's good to see you, brother. It's good to see you. Oh my gosh. Cheers, everybody. Wine. I've started to lose a little bit of sense of smell, and from what I understand, I heard that is a coronavirus symptom, but I don't have a fever. I still have my sense of taste. It's just a nose thing, I guess. I think it's an allergy thing. It's got to be what it is. Movie Buff says, notice how Judith Hill at the end of her Prince video, Tobacco Time, is juxtaposed to Vanity on the cover of this Vanity 6 album. Interesting. Yeah. Movie Buff is full of great details, especially about Prince's last days. If you want to find out a lot about some of the thoughts and conspiracies and things, there's a couple people that are floating in here. That are, have a lot of details about that. I saw Abigail Noel. I saw her floating around in here. Abigail, how you doing? And of course, we got Movie Buff. You can go to the video that I did on the mystery of Prince's passing, the video on YouTube, and Movie Buff has like tons of different details and stuff on some findings and stuff. So he's got a lot of information. I told you we would not talk about that again as far as the topic is concerned. I want to kind of get it out of the way and be done with it. But if you want to follow some folks, Movie Buff is definitely one of those people that you can follow. He's got lots of information. Abigail, obviously, she's got lots of things that she's working with, and she works with Chaz and them. Cheers, everybody. 24 seconds. Mailing says get tested. No, I'd rather not know. How is that for ignorance? I take white to a new level. And that was Wet Dream, song number 2, song number dos on the album Vanity 6. Vanity 6's only album. Vanity 6's only album. The only one that they did, which is a shame because it would have been pretty awesome. Vanity obviously would have had a second album had she gone forward with the Purple Rain character role, and she just it just is what it is. It just is what it is. Yes, everybody's giving me grief on the channel because I can't really smell good. I feel like I'm kind of congested in my nose. I still have sense of taste and everything. I don't have a fever. I don't have any other symptoms of coronavirus other than my nose is a little bit congested and everybody's saying, get tested. And I was like, nope, not going to do it. and so now I'm being called ignorant and everything else, but I don't, I just stay at my house all day anyway. So I'm already self-confined anyways. I don't ever go anywhere. So it's okay. I'm not going to kill anybody. We're good. We're good. Susie said, did you know Vanity? No, I did not know Vanity. I did not know her. I'd never met her. I've never laid eyes on her. The closest person, and I've told this story before, and we're going down a rabbit hole. Right in the middle of an album chat, we're going down a rabbit hole. The only person that I've ever known, well, I take that back. There was a few people that I've met, women that I've met in Prince's life that I've actually had. I've had lots of personal interactions with Tamar. Tamar is a good friend of mine. Matter of fact, Tamar's number is in my phone. I've had multiple interactions with Andy Allo. Matter of fact, Andy Allo has come on this radio show, and she's actually taken over the radio show and played a bunch of her music and music that she felt that kind of were the biggest influence for her. And so she was actually on the show. Who else have I met? Of course, I've met Wendy. I've met Lisa. I've met Liv Warfield. I've met Shelby J. I've interviewed both of them, Liv Warfield and Shelby J. But the one off-camera, non-Funkatopia thing that I've ever had was in the late 80s during Batman. And I was at a club in Atlanta, off of Piedmont Road in downtown Atlanta. Well, it's not downtown Atlanta. It's actually Buckhead is the area that it's called. And it was a club called Rupert's. And I was dancing it used to be called the Limelight. It was like the famous club in Atlanta that used to have like sharks underneath the dance floor. It was just silly. It was called the Limelight, but it got closed and reopened and renamed Rupert's. And they had this live band that was playing that was so fantastic. They were so good. And people would just come out and it was just a party. It was just a huge party. And I worked across the street at the Holiday Inn in Buckhead. I was working at the desk, and I came across, I am so sorry I'm going down this rabbit hole. But anyways, so it was late night. I got off at 11 o'clock. I really didn't want to go home. I was single. I wasn't married. And I was just, I just wanted to go out. And so I went across the street to Rupert's, and I was hanging out, just hanging out. And I liked dancing then. I was in shape, and I was, I had it going on. Tony will tell you I had it going on, and I was, Tony and the guy, we're talking for those who aren't on Facebook. Tony Halliburton's a really good friend of mine. He played bass in a band with me called New Reality. And they used to make fun of me because every single band practice, I would show up with band practice with another girl. So it was ridiculous. Anyways, so I left work and went across the street to Rupert's, and I was dancing, and I wanted to dance, but I just wasn't really playing the music. All of a sudden, they broke out playing Prince music, and they broke out into Bat Dance. I was like, oh man, this is a song. And I ran out on the stage, and I was not on stage. I ran out onto the dance floor, and I was dancing by myself. It wasn't with anybody. It was by myself. Cause I had came straight from work, and I'm dancing on the floor to Bat Dance. I'm just getting down and whatnot. And then they play another Prince song, and I'm like, oh snap, they're in the zone tonight. And then they play another Prince song, and I'm thinking to myself, this is a little bit unusual. This is a DJ, and he's trying to cater to everybody in here. So it's a little bit unusual that they're playing like a bunch of Prince songs in a row. And I'm feeling good at this time. I had about 3 drinks in me at this point, and I'm got my eyes closed, and I'm like boogieing down. That all of a sudden somebody pushes me really hard on my shoulders, like puts their hand on my shoulders and like pushes me back. And I look up, and standing in front of me is Kim Basinger. And Kim Basinger is dancing with me, but I was so into myself and had my head down, and I was kind of my eyes closed and zoning out. Kim Basinger wanted me to dance with her. And I looked up, and Kim Basinger's in front of me. And so I'm still kind of dancing, and my head's processing, this is Kim Basinger, this is Kim Basinger, this is Kim Basinger. And she's like smiling. She goes, come on, dance. And so I start dancing a little bit and she's dancing with me and she laughs and I give her a little twirl and then off she goes. I was like, okay, I just danced with Kim Basinger. That was pretty cool. That was like a really small moment, but then it all started making sense. Oh, Kim Basinger is in town because at that point in time, they knew that she was working with Prince because the whole Batman thing. She was actually in town to buy a town here in Georgia called Brazelton. I don't know if that ever happened or whatever happened with that, but she was in town to buy the city. I don't know what. I had no idea. Anyways, but it was cool. It was funny. It was just humorous. So there you go. There was a rabbit. There's your rabbit hole of the night right there. I danced with Kim Basinger for 10 seconds. Probably was longer, but I had my eyes closed and I wasn't paying attention. But for 10 seconds, I danced with Kim Basinger. So there was that. But I've had much more meaningful conversations with Tamar. I've sat with Tamar for an hour and sat and talked and chatted. Same with Andy Allo. And it's, but that moment was just random. It was just random. All right. Where are we? We're in the middle of an album chat. We're in the middle of an album chat right now for Vanity Six's album, Vanity Six, the only album. And here it is, song number 3. I'm sorry. I love doing the rabbit holes whenever I get an opportunity to. Anyways, Drive Me Wild, song number 3 on this album, written by Prince, credited to Susan Moonsey. I don't know why I said credited the way that I did, but credited to Susan Moonsey. It was previously the B-side to Nasty Girl. The album version is 2 minutes and 31 seconds long. But then in January of 1983, Prince went in and added a bunch of new music to it to bring it over 5 minutes long. And even that was edited back down to 3 minutes and 12 seconds, which is essentially what you're going to hear. But keep in mind that this is pre-computer editing. Like this wasn't like Pro Tools or anything like that. That's not what was happening here. For those that remember old school, if you've ever been involved in a recording studio, many of you have not, I understand, but you have certainly seen these reel-to-reel, which are almost like film reels, but they have audio on them. And if you've ever seen a cassette tape, you've certainly seen the tape that's inside of a cassette tape. You've used your pencil to kind of move things forward. Don't want to cause anybody to have like a flashback, but reel-to-reels were like about twice the size of cassette tapes width-wise. And with reel-to-reel tapes, essentially, if you wanted to edit something, you had to manually forward. Sometimes you could like fast forward through it if you were really good at, working the buttons or whatever. But you had to manually forward to the part that you wanted to cut. And then you had to literally physically cut the tape. And then you had to take out parts of the tape and then tape it together. That's how you had to edit these reel-to-reels. It was not the same. It's totally not. And if you could imagine doing that on a cassette tape, like forwarding to the part that you want to cut out on a cassette tape and like taking the tape out and then cutting it with scissors and then cutting out the other part that you want and then taping the 2 remaining ends back together. That's like what it was, but on a bigger version on reel-to-reel. So when you had to edit a song, you had to locate where it was that you wanted to edit it and physically cut the tape and then tape it back together. David Leonard was one of the engineers on this song, Drive Me Wild, and he was telling about how Prince would keep changing things on him. He said, Prince would tell me to cut to that chorus, and he would point and he would show me and say, cut to that chorus. He said, and then I would mark it on the downbeat and put it together. And then he would say, no, make it come in later. So I'd go back and take the 1/2-inch piece off of it and then stick it on there. And then he would say, oh no, that's too much. Cut that in half. And then this went on for quite a bit. And he would get it to the point where he was cutting it again and then cutting it again to the point where he literally was cutting off like 1/8-inch slivers off of the tape in order to edit it and put the song together the way that Prince wanted it. So it was a lot of editing and a lot of crazy things that were going on with the whole process of editing with these reel-to-reel tapes. It was not an easy thing. The people that can actually do it and do it well are worth every single penny that they make. I swear to you. As for the source of the song, Susan Moonsey said that the inspiration for the lyrics came from the time when she met Prince in Minneapolis. Remember that she's listed as the co-writer of this song, so she obviously knows the source. She wrote the lyrics. She said, he was just standing there drinking orange juice and we started talking. I told him that I write songs and I gave him a sample of my lyrics. They said, I'm a brand new convertible child and I've never been driven. You're the first. Come on, baby. Drive me wild. Brenda was not on the track. She said that was basically the way Susan did it. She did very well for someone without experience. There was something very natural about her. Anyways, Prince liked the lyrics and she appreciated everything that he could possibly do for her career. And she just happened to be in the right place at the right time. And that's kind of how it went down as far as the lyrics are concerned. As I mentioned, there are some people that I've seen in the chat room here that said that they were high school sweethearts. That could well have been, but this whole music thing was on another level. It was one thing on a personal relationship. It's a totally another thing when you take it to the professional level, for sure. They also did make a video for the extended version of this song that featured his bodyguard, Chick Huntsberry, when you guys know as a Big Chick, who was dressed as a fairy godmother, and he's like dancing around this room, waving a magic wand. And the funny side of this is that a lot of these couples that are in the video are kind of paired off. And the video also featured Brenda Bennett's husband, Roy Bennett. But Prince, being Prince, decided to pair Roy Bennett with Susan Moonsey instead of pairing him with his wife. So he had the dance with another woman in this video. But he made sure it totally looked so unsexy. If you've ever seen the video, like, Roy Bennett just looks like he's like not enjoying it at all. Like he's just playing the part and just being a body in the process. There's no jealousy. He made sure that there was no chemistry at all that could be translated from that performance. Anyways, the video was bizarre anyway. I mean, it's like a bunch of dancing clowns and people in Nixon mask, and Brenda's partner in the video was some guy that just appeared. You couldn't hear in the audio, but it appeared that he was like hitting on her the whole video, and she's like upset at him for something. I don't know. It's a very discombobulated video, very, very Prince style video. Prince's vision for video was and the way he made movies was just something. I don't know if it was a translation of what was actually going on in his head, but it could also explain why nobody else does what Prince does, because it's just it's just very, very bizarre. Anyways, the solo that Prince did in the extended version of Drive Me Wild is very similar to the solo he did in the extended version of Computer Blue. So if you ever get a chance to listen to the extended version, you can try to see if you can pick that out. But before we do that, everybody here obviously knows who Dave Grohl is. He's ex-drummer for Nirvana, the only drummer, I believe, that was for Nirvana. Also the lead singer and guitarist for the Mighty Mighty Foo Fighters, who you saw on the Prince celebration, not Prince celebration, the Prince tribute that they did on TV not too long ago. But he always talks about how he was a huge Prince fan, and he always gets really fanboy about Prince. And he actually got a chance to play with Prince a few times, but not many people are aware of this. But the Foo Fighters actually did a cover of this song, Drive Me Wild. I swear to you, I promise you, it's true. It's not a song that's widely available here in the States. I believe, if I remember correctly, this was only on an album in the UK or an album over in Europe, and it was a bonus track. And so it's not something that's widely available, but you can find it online. It's easy enough to find it online. But I wanted to play a little bit of a taste of the Foo Fighters version of Drive Me Wild. So let's do that right now, shall we? Here's your next little fun little ditty. It's Foo Fighters, Drive Me Wild. Just a little taste of it, just so you can at least get an idea of what it sounds like. Check it out. It's so easy. And that was the Foo Fighters doing a little bit of a cover of Drive Me Wild. You can find that online. You can go to YouTube and search for Foo Fighters, Drive Me Wild. You can hear the whole entire song. Normally, we get so used to Dave Grohl doing that screaming thing that he does so phenomenally well, and he is one of the best at it. But for whatever reason it may be, he never screams during this song. That's the tone he keeps for pretty much the entire song. But it was another opportunity for him to show his love for Prince, and Dave Grohl is just like one of the biggest Prince fans in the world. He's always talking about Prince anytime that he gets an opportunity. So it was really kind of cool to hear him actually do that. But for this version that we're going to play you, it's Susan Moonsey on these lead vocals. Vanity is also on the vocals, although it's uncertain. Brenda Bennett is also uncertain on the vocals. And it's Prince on all instruments, but credited as The Time. David Leonard, as I mentioned, was the assistant engineer on the 12-inch remix, and so was Peggy McCreary. The first time the song was ever performed live was October 21st, 1982 in Detroit, Michigan. And the last time was November 11th, 1982 at that Soldiers and Sailors Memorial Auditorium in Chattanooga. Here it is, the Vanity 6 version of Drive Me Wild, right here on the Funkatopia Radio Show. You are listening to the album chat for Vanity 6, Drive Me Wild, right here, right now. You guys heard me, but the radio did not. So all that talking I just did after Foo Fighters, they didn't hear me. You did. They did not. Oh, well. I'll fix it. I'll fix it in post. Rachel said, Questlove tweeted about Nasty Girl, Ice Cream Castle. Go to track 5 if the kid can't make you come at 5:36. Apparently, Prince of the Time are ribbing Vanity's inability to nail the ad-lib in Nasty Girl at 2:45. Questlove called it the whack-a-gaw. What? And Jimmy Jam said that they ran the joke into the ground. Yes, I know the show has no audio. I know the show had no audio. You heard the audio here, but they didn't hear the audio there on the radio station. So I apologize. I will fix that when I come back. I will make sure that's remedied. I will fix it in post. You won't even notice. See, this is the cool thing about seeing this live. You get to see me in all my flaws and errors. My wife gets to see it every day. You only get to see it on Tuesday nights, and that's only if you watch the live show. And the Facebook live show is kind of a little bit weird because even though you're being able to hear this, you don't actually get to hear the full song. You only get to hear only get to hear in the background. If you listen on the radio show, you get to actually hear the song in its entirety. So I'm going to fix that. I'm going to pretend like this never happened when I come back, and I'm going to I'll just do the audio there. That's where I'll do it. And I'm actually recording the audio which happened on a show before, and you may have noticed it, the levels on one, but I had to patch part of what I was doing from this show to that show. It's kind of weird. Here we go. And that was Drive Me Wild from Vanity 6. If you were listening on Facebook, you got to actually hear the audio. You didn't have all the dead space that you got to hear dead space on the radio station. You did not hear dead space on Facebook, but you did hear dead space on here. And my apologies, but for whatever reason, when I pressed the button to turn the mic on, it did not take. So here's what I will tell you. That was the Foo Fighters that you actually heard previously before. On the Vanity 6 version, it's Susan Moonsey on lead vocals, Vanity on vocals, Brenda Bennett on vocals, and Prince on all instruments, but credited as The Time. That was David Leonard that did the assistant engineer for the 12-inch version, along with Peggy McCreary. The first time that song was ever performed was October 21st, 1982 in Detroit. And the last time was November 11th, 1982 at the Soldiers and Sailors Memorial Auditorium in Chattanooga. And that was, or let's do this for post. And here you go. It's Drive Me Wild by Vanity 6. All right. So that way I can fix it in post. Anyways, that brings us to the next song in the mix, which is He's So Dull, written by Des Dickerson and credited to Des and Vanity, not Vanity 6, Vanity. And the track is actually written and produced by Des Dickerson, and Prince is only a musician here, which is the only track like that on this album. Matter of fact, when you think about the timeline of Prince in itself and how he credited and kind of put forward a lot of the credit in regards to music, this was one of the first times that I can ever think of that he's ever done that. I think Des Dickerson was probably the first time this had ever happened, that it was actually written and produced by someone other than Prince. It's just unusual. Anyways, all the other tracks on the album are written and produced by Prince. I mean, or Jamie Starr, if you're paying attention. The track, this one, He's So Dull, also found its way onto National Lampoon's Vacation soundtrack, thanks to Steve Fargnoli, who was trying to help Des do his own thing. And Des wrote a lot of the songs from the album called The Rebels, that you guys hear tracks on our radio station every now and then. But if you ever hear like a Rocky song during the Prince blocks on Funked Up, and you're like, and it says Prince, and you're like, that's not really Prince. It technically probably should say The Rebels, because there are some songs that we play in rotation that are from The Rebels, and a lot of those are written by either Des Dickerson, Andre Simone also did a lot of stuff as well, but that was the band at the time. But Des, when he asked about how the song, this one, He's So Dull, got on the Vacation soundtrack, he said it was something our manager at the time, Steve Fargnoli, orchestrated at Prince's behest. It was a big deal that he was clearing a lane for me to do some things on my own, true to his word from our first conversation in the parking lot of Dell's Tire Mart following my first audition for the band. So I'm not exactly sure what that conversation insisted of, or let me try that again. I'm not sure what that conversation consisted of. However, I do know that it must have involved something to the effect that Des wanted to do his own thing. So Steve Fargnoli made sure that Des was at least going to be able to have an opportunity to be able to do things on his own as a solo artist if the thing with Prince didn't work out, or, you know, or maybe he was on top of it. If you work with Prince, I'll also make sure that you can also get out some of the stuff for your solo stuff. I don't know how it all worked. But anyways, Des referred to this song as kind of Go-Go's influenced throwback tune. On this song, it's Vanity on lead vocals, Brenda Bennett and Susan Moonsey on regular vocals, Prince on all instruments except for Des Dickerson on drums and guitar. And keep in mind, Prince is only playing on this song just as an instrumentalist, similar to, I guess, what's the Minneapolis Genius, like the 94 East sessions, is very, very similar. Prince is just a musician. He's not necessarily the writer. He's just, you know, it is what it is. The first and only time this song was played was October 21st, 1982 in Detroit, Michigan. And again, guesting with Vanity 6. It's the only known performance of this song. But you're going to hear it here. Here it is, Des Dickerson's song, He's So Dull. You may also remember it from the Vacation soundtrack from National Lampoon. I doubt that's where you've heard it, but you probably heard it here. Needless to say, here it is, He's So Dull, right here on the Funkatopia Radio Show. You're listening to the album chat for Vanity 6's album, Vanity 6, the only one, He's So Dull, right here on Funked Up. So I'm debating about this next part. There was a song. I'll just let you guys vote. I'm gonna let you guys vote on this. Thank you for all the kind comments. I appreciate it. Anyways, what was I going to say? Oh, so the next song is If a Girl Answers, Don't Hang Up. But as part of what Prince was doing, he actually created a song called Vibrator. Some of you guys are familiar with it. Some of you guys are not familiar with it. But it's a 7-minute song. And it was a song that was actually created for Vanity Six's second album that never happened. And it never didn't end up on Apollonia's album either. But it's pretty much, from a bootleg standpoint, it pretty much is historic. It's a historic album. So I'm curious, should I play this 7-minute version of Vibrator before If a Girl Answers, Don't Hang Up? I'm leaving it up to you. I'm letting you guys vote. You guys have 52 seconds to vote if I should play the Vibrator song that Prince wrote. Some of you guys probably heard the skit, but this is a 7-minute version of a song, and it's got a whole thing. So should I, yes or no? I'll let you guys vote. April says, yep, play it. Yep, Danielle, I knew that. He also uses that for the intro to Madhouse's song 7. Remember that? Cammie says yes. Arlene says yes. Okay, we're going for it. 12 seconds. And that was He's So Dull, which is the song on Vanity 6, which brings us to the next album, or the next song on the album, If a Girl Answers, Don't Hang Up. Well, kind of. I kind of let the people on Facebook vote, also on YouTube, also vote, and everybody said yes, 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 plus yes, 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 play it. So here, let me get to that part, and I'll tell you what they voted yes to. If a Girl Answers, Don't Hang Up was written by Prince and Terry Lewis. It's credited to Terry Lewis and Vanity 6. And this song is one of the highlights of the record because it uses some of those funny skit parts that, Prince is known for doing, these really weird kind of the things or whatever. But Prince plays the role of Jamie Starr here on this track, who is kind of a, over the top kind of, yeah, man. And it's intentionally over the top. I mean, that's what he likes to do. He likes to create these characters that are kind of larger than life. And he does that with a lot of, if you think about even just Vanity 6 in general, it's 3 women dressed up in lingerie, playing great music, and just, he takes everything to the next level. Morris Day's character is, it's everything that he does. He wants to make sure that it's going to be memorable. It's over the top, to even the names of the bands that he would choose. He chose so many different versions of, like, The Family, The Time. He wanted to create names for the bands that you were going to say a lot, that you were always, and that was part of the whole process of naming it The Time. When somebody said, what time is it? He wanted you to be able to think immediately about Morris Day and The Time. Not everybody does, but all of us do, especially the ones that are in the purple circle. But anyways, Prince decided to take it to the next level on this tune, and he actually created another skit called Vibrator about a personal massage device. And Brenda Bendit said, oh yes, it was definitely for the second Vanity 6 album. She said, you can hear in her performance that she had really improved. But as far as I can tell, there's no way he would release it, and he hasn't. That is Jill Jones and Vanity at the end of the song. The same character he uses here in If a Girl Answers, Don't Hang Up is the same one he used in the skit for Vibrator. And the song here concludes, obviously, with Vanity achieving orgasm. And anyways, Jill remembers it vividly of that section, when that section was being recorded, because she says, after I recorded my part, I ended up leaving the studio and going upstairs, and Vanity went down there, and then that thing just is making this loud grinding noise. And Jill says, I remember it was like a lawnmower, and she alluded to me that it was an experimentation thing, anything for art. I was watching TV and it was really loud. It didn't take a genius. There were a lot of things that went on in that studio for sure. For sure. Jill Jones said, and that's when we were all getting along. It was right before the Purple Rain stuff started going because Vanity hadn't left yet. We were all in the studio together and it was easy to work because you could do your part and then go upstairs and make some tea. And the song Vibrator was never released, but Vanity's moaning is all over tracks all throughout Prince's career moving forward because, that type of audio, you don't capture that type of audio and just let it go into the vault. You're going to use it for something. A lot of people have heard the segment from Vibrator on the song Orgasm off of the album Come. It's also used, a clip is also used on Madhouse's first album right before 7, where she's moaning and then it's so he used it. And also, you don't know this probably because you haven't heard it, but Madhouse also has an album called 24. Madhouse had an album called 8. Madhouse had an album called 16. And there's also another unreleased album called 24. And she's on, her moaning and stuff is on 24 as well. And one of the things I just asked on Facebook, I said, I will let you guys vote. You guys can vote. Do you want to hear this song Vibrator? Because it's 7 minutes long. So it kind of gets in the way of the album chat, but I think it kind of completes the picture of what's going on here. I think I was leaning towards playing it, but it's 7 minutes long. It's like longer than like every single song on the album. But I let everybody vote, and everybody's saying, yes, play it. Yes, play it. Yes, play it. Kemi says vibrator, vibrator, vibrator. Danielle says yes. Alex Cho says play it. Lisa says yes, yes, sir. Trisha Westberg says yes. Rachel says play it with a thumbs up. Veronica says play it. Tracy says yes. Tony Halliburton says yes. Chester says work it. Maisha says, I vote yes if it's 7 minutes of song, not skit. It is. Sylvia says yes. Jamie says yes. Lauren says yes. Why not? FEM says yes. Arlene says yes. Go for it. Ocean says play vibrator. Susie says yep. Everybody says yes. So guess what? We're playing it. Jackie says must play it. Linda says play it. All right, we're playing it. Here it is, Vibrator, not on the Vanity 6 album, but it was absolutely going to be on Vanity 6's second album, and it's directly related to what we're about to play. So here it is, the 7-minute version of Vibrator. Yes, it's a song. It does have skit on it also, but here it is. Enjoy. This is your doing, not mine. Ocean says Vibrator, can't wait to hear it. Turn it up. Howard Stern style. Here you go. You guys are killing me. I put the slime down and look what it did. It just flattened out like a pancake. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Ocean says, I love my slime. I know, it's great, isn't it? I can just sit here and just play with this friggin' slime forever, dude. It's just... I think some of my scent is starting to go away because I play with it like nonstop. Like I'll work for 8 hours a day and just sit and just play and play and play. You guys want to pick up your own slime, you can. To GeorgiaGirls.com, TWO GeorgiaGirls.com, or Slime for Adults. They create 8-ounce versions of these, and they have like it's therapeutic slime, and it also has like hemp seed in it, hemp seed oil and argan oil and like lavender or Indian nag champa. They have one that smells like baby powder, and they use the girls use instant snow. So it's like this super soft. It's ridiculous. It's super soft slime, and it smells like baby powder. So if you're a grandparent and you have grandkids that you don't get to see all the time, it's amazing. Because first, it's not hard on your joints because it's super soft, and it smells like baby powder. It's great. If you guys just ordered it, Jamie, yes, your order went out on Saturday, so you should have it any day now. I can track it. Let me track it for you, Jamie, while we're sitting here. Eat your heart, sucker! Jamie, where do you live that it's taking so long? I don't understand.
Oh no. Oh, please don't die me now.
It says it's supposed to get to you on Friday. It says it's supposed to get to you on Friday, but it says it arrived at the U.S. Postal Service on the 18th, which it didn't. We put it on Saturday. So I don't know what happened. We sent all of them out on Saturday. Yeah, you can go to either Two Georgia Girls, TWO Georgia Girls, or Slime for Adults. But there's like 8 different kinds. My favorite is, I love the lavender one. This is a special lavender one. It's not quite the same. And also the Tangerine. The Tangerine Nag Champa is freaking, it's called Tempting Tangerine. That one's ridiculous. I can play with that, and then you can smell it. You can smell it on your hands like for the rest of the day. It's like so calming. Put you in a great meditative state. It's amazing. We're missing the skit. We're talking over the skit. Cammy, did you donate again? Cammy, you're a monster. Cammy, it looks like you are going to have to give me your address, because I think you've donated like 3 times. Yeah, if you need to get some of the slime, it's TwoGeorgiaGirls.com. TwoGeorgiaGirls.com. TWO GeorgiaGirls.com. This stuff is friggin' ridiculous. We had a Laura sent me 2 videos of her boyfriend playing with it, who just had done like chemotherapy or some other type, like a bunch of therapy, and he is like playing with it like nonstop. He's got like 2 of them. It's amazing. Danielle, if you want to come up with a special order, if there's some type of concoction you want to come up with, that's fine. We can add any type of scent to it that you want. They have like a whole bunch of variety of scents. That's actually something that we were actually considering doing, is maybe coming up with like a variety of different scents. Are we coming up with like a base slime and then letting you add your own scents, because we can add the scents later. So maybe there's like a specific type of slime that you want, but you want like a specific scent. You can do that too. I think we're going to plan on doing that. That'll be pretty cool. It is old school, so that's great. Stuff is amazing. Susan says chocolate mint set. Okay, that was Vibrator. The as I told you, this show is adult only, 18 and over, please. Although teens know all kinds of stuff nowadays, but that is what it is. And oh my word. Yes, we were talking offline about while we were listening to Vibrator and playing with slime, which is, you know, kind of therapeutic in itself. It kind of keeps your mind off of things. But it's TwoGeorgiaGirls.com, TWO GeorgiaGirls.com. You can order your own slime here, which we've been playing with online, and it's just friggin' phenomenal stuff. And it's like addicting. You just sit and just play with it forever. Therapeutic slime. It's slime, but it's got all kinds of medicinal therapeutic stuff like hemp seed oil and all this kind of stuff. And it's just Indian nag champa and it's stupid. It's ridiculous. Oh my gosh. Okay. That was a Vibrator with the one and only Jill Jones and Vanity as well. Vanity is one that does that. As mentioned, they took her. There was a lot of experimentation going on in the studio, according to what Jill Jones said. Lots of stuff going on in that studio, like she said, and that outtake from that ending has been used in multiple places. On Madhouse's song 7, on Madhouse's song 24, that's unreleased, and also as the closing track to Prince's album Come on the, you know, on the song Orgasm. So, okay, back to If a Woman Answers, Don't Hang Up, which is part of the album chat. That's part of it. Anyways, Brenda Bennett recalls a story where this song during the tour caused a bunch of problems. Not because they're doing any type of orgasm thing or whatever. We're talking about If a Girl Answers, Don't Hang Up. Brenda said that during a show, one of the shows that Vanity 6 was doing, she said, I blanked right on stage in front of all of these people. I forgot my part. So I ad-libbed and it threw Vanity off so much that we fought after the show. Vanity wanted to stab me about this. She got a copy of the tape from the sound man of the show and played that part of the tape over and over. She just kept rubbing it in. The time was on the other side of the dressing room and we're taking bets on who would walk out of there alive. Brenda's husband, Roy, said, I remember Brenda and Vanity getting into a huge fight. And Prince said, don't you have any control over your wife? And I pretended to hold a remote control and I pointed it at her and said, I guess my batteries are dead. Brenda apparently had Vanity up against the wall by her throat. And Brenda was one of those women who grew up between two brothers. She wasn't like that all the time, but she could be very tough. And there was constant friction between them. So this song was a little bit of an issue, but not because of the song itself, but because for whatever reason, Brenda happened to blank out and it caused a lot of problems between her and Vanity moving forward. And yeah, who knows? It's Vanity on co-lead vocals, Brenda on co-lead vocals, Susan Moonsey on vocals, and Prince on spoken vocals and all instruments, but credited as The Time. The first time this song was ever played was October 21st, 1982 in Detroit. And the last time was November 11th, 1982 at Soldiers and Sailors Memorial Auditorium in Chattanooga. That just kind of gives you an idea of how short of a lifespan these songs were given in a live setting for sure. Here it is. If a Girl Answers, Don't Hang Up, another kind of song skit wise that, Prince kind of took him to the next level for sure. Here it is. If a Girl Answers, Don't Hang Up. You're listening to the album chat for Vanity 6 right here on the Funkatopia radio show. Cammy, yes, there is an Apple scent coming. I think it's cinnamon apple or something, I think. They had one
You know that smell, hot cinnamon? Like it's just hot cinnamon, I think is what it is. Somebody asked me, Sylvia asked, is that the new sign of the times record behind me? I am stuck. My chair is stuck. What am I stuck on? Oh my God. My chair. Oh my gosh. Now I've lost a wheel. Are you serious right now? A wheel came off of my chair. No, that is not the. Oh shoot! Now I got to fix my chair. That is not the new Sign of the Times album behind me. That's the original Sign of the Times. I gotta put this wheel. I gotta put this wheel back in. Give me a second. One moment. Oh my gosh. Oh my word, I can't even get this wheel in. All right, I got it. What the heck? That was weird. All right. No, that's I don't actually have to wear this. I can show off my haircut. You guys see I got my haircut today? It's the original Sign of the Times. The original one. Still got the sticker and everything. I think I paid $25 for it. Well, this is the original one. $30 is what I spent for it. Because I think the original one that I had got lost. You guys remember this? Old lyrics. Great album. Anyways, yeah. Cut the wheel in. Ba-dumps. Yep. Great bass line. Almost done with this glass of wine. Everybody knows I only drink on Tuesday nights, and it's one glass of wine. I'm a lightweight. I don't drink at all. Jaden actually gets very upset with me when I drink wine. She's like, "You're drinking." It's okay. It's all right. You're fine. Thank you once again to Cammie. Cammie, that box of wine that you sent me, it was not a box of wine. It was a box of different wines. It was so amazing. I'm still working on it. It's fantastic. Thank you so much. Yes, Cammie, one glass. I enjoy myself, but within reason. Those days in the 80s and 90s are gone. Does it look like I need more? No. Okay. What did I miss here? Linda says never saw it on vinyl, only got the CDs. Yeah, if you go to discogs.com, Disco GS, which is short for discographies, but discogs.com, you can actually go in there and it's based in the UK, but you can actually find people that are selling albums left and right. And that was a vinyl I actually got. I actually had an original, the Family album, but I gave it to a Funkatopian, one of the Patreon supporters. Speaking of which, I need to put this up here. I haven't done this in a long time. That is a funky bass line, Tony, for sure. What all did I miss? Allie, what's going on? How you doing? Welcome, welcome. So is that Terry Lewis on bass? No, it is. It's actually Prince on bass. It's actually Prince on bass, I believe. That's what it's credited as. But the time was one that was playing everything live. 17 seconds. If Terry was on here, he was not credited. It's credited as the time. Could be Terry on bass. Sure, could be right. And that was If a Girl Answers, Don't Hang Up. Great bass line in that. We were just talking about that. Somebody asked, is that Terry Lewis on bass? And I really honestly don't know. He's credited on this. And I don't know what it says, according to Prince Vault, it says Prince on all instruments, but it's credited to the time. But this song is written by Prince and Terry Lewis. That very much sounds like a Terry Lewis type of, I don't know. He's not, if he's playing bass on here, it's not credited. That's just, it is. Neon says, who's on trombone? Thank you, Neon. All right. We got some, yeah. Okay. Tony Halliburton, one of the best bass players in Georgia, said that sounds a lot like Terry. And Terry, and Tony absolutely knows his bass player, so he's probably right. That probably is Terry Lewis on bass. It wouldn't surprise me at all. There's so many people that played on various songs that did not get credit. So many people did not know that Lenny Kravitz does background vocals on the song Dolphin. Matter of fact, Lenny is all over that song Dolphin, and he didn't get credited at all. He's on a few of the songs on Chaos and Disorder and didn't get credited at all. It's just surprising how many. Jesse Johnson is on so many tracks. He actually was one of the ones that wrote Jungle Love for the most part. He came up and crafted the whole entire song on a 4-track, gave it to Prince, and the song is pretty much credited to Prince. I mean, Jesse gets some writing credits, but Jesse wrote pretty much the whole friggin' thing minus the lyrics. Jesse Johnson sings background vocals on 1999. A lot of people don't know that. Jesse Johnson is one of the ones in the back along with Jill Jones and some other people going, party. A lot of people don't know Jesse Johnson's on that. There's so many people that were actively involved in some songs that we found out in the past were actually there that didn't even get credit for even being there. So that's just unusual. This is unusual, but that's that. Anyways, the next song on this album for Vanity 6 is the song Makeup. You know what I was saying at the beginning, this album is just a little bit over 30 minutes long, but what's surprising is that we were actually able to, it's just funny. We're actually able to make this a really good, solid, firm, long album chat. I mean, we've already been at it for about 2 hours and 13 minutes, and we're on finally song number 6. We got 2 more songs after that. And we got tons of information. So it's going to be great. I don't have a lot of information on this song though. That's kind of unusual. So there's that. Makeup is the next song on this album, written by Prince and credited to Susan Moonsey. And we just got this song on Prince's vocals on it on Originals, which we had received. And this is basically Prince getting in touch with his feminine side and calling out all of the products that a woman has to go through on her checklist as she's kind of getting ready for the evening, blush and eyeliner and base and mascara, etc. But you know what the way this song is crafted lyrically is borderline brilliant, to be totally honest, because the way that he can say so little but say so much is what's really kind of intriguing about this song. Because as he goes through the process, when it can be Prince doing it, but in this particular case, this is actually Susan Moonsey that's actually doing the vocals. But it goes blush, eyeliner, hush, see what you made me do. So it's like someone is talking to her while she's putting on eyeliner and they messed her up, and so. Or they messed up her line. So the way that they say that, blush, eyeliner, hush, see what you made me do. There's like so little words, but it says so much. It creates this visual. I've said this before when Stevie Wonder used to talk about Prince and the way that he wrote his lyrics. It's like you could see everything that he was saying. He was just so descriptive in the way that he said things. Even if he didn't say it descriptively, he still said it in a way that really kind of created a visual. Same thing that he would do with a lot of the sound effects. I mean, you listen to 1999 or any albums really, and all the sound effects that he has going on the background to kind of add to the ambiance, from the rain and the windshield wipers and people yelling, taxi, taxi, and sounds in the back. And just, he was such a master at creating an environment or creating a little bit of a scene that goes behind it. But here again, it's just lyrically is just great. Base, mascara, erase. I want to look good for you. So like, whoops, I made a mistake. I want this to be right. Base, mascara, erase. I want to look good for you. And the whole song is structured this way. So it's just crafty. Anyways, but it's been said that he is the most comfortable around women. And I think it's obvious why he felt like that, because I mean, let's be honest. Prince was one of the coolest guys on the planet, but he doesn't really come across as macho or masculine in any particular way. I mean, obviously the women would obviously say something totally different. No, Prince was like the man. And I get that, but he had a lot of effeminate qualities as well. And, you know, I mean, even Vanity was talking about how when she first met him, that she thought that he was gay because he wanted to try on her clothes. So even he was kind of playing around with a lot of he was a ladies' man. We knew that from the get-go. We know that, but he was always surrounding himself with women. And it was very unusual for him to really you couldn't see him surrounding himself with a bunch of, you know, testosterone fueled men. I mean, when he did it, like when you think of like NPG in the 90s, when he had like Tony M and NPG and they were kind of walking around all hard and stuff. And there was all the, you know, it didn't seem right. Even though when we interviewed Tony on the show and Tony said, yeah, that was Prince. You know, we grew up with him. That's exactly how he talked. That was exactly how he walked and how he acted. And you didn't see that. I mean, for Prince fans and musically, we didn't really see that side of him. We saw a lot of the feminine side, just like not really the feminine side, but not the manly side. And which was perfectly fine because his voice and his musicianship and everything lended itself to it. And he created enough characters and he had enough of a presence to kind of supersede all that. It didn't really matter. It was just about the music and it was about him. And it was just that stuff that was going on in the 90s as far as MPG. It didn't really fit with what we had grown to admire about him over the years. I mean, and we know that he always had these insecurities, you know, his height being the biggest issue. I mean, he hated that. I mean, he spent his whole life fighting the fact that he was short. From everything having to, you know, he didn't want people to take pictures of him because he didn't have any control over people possibly seeing that he was short. You know, if they had like taken a picture of him in a situation where, you know, it didn't look like he was at least an average height to everybody around him. He would position himself on the stage to where, you know, he was out front. And if you were around the same height, like that's the reason why he didn't really have a problem with Maite dancing around him, because Maite was about the same height, a little bit taller, but not much. So she could go all around the stage and it really didn't kind of accentuate the fact that he was a little bit shorter. And it just that whole process and everything that he had to go through with that insecurity must have been exhausting for him. Just to always have to feel like you have to protect your image. And he did such a friggin' great job of it that it wasn't until 2002 that I finally got an opportunity to meet him before I realized how short he was. It didn't matter to me. I always thought that he was this friggin' giant. He just strategically positioned himself in a way that was just, he was a marketing genius. Anyways, it was very rare that you got to hear his original vocal on a track like this, especially one that's specifically designed for a female lead. We're going to get to hear it. I believe on I Need a Man, I think is going to be one of the songs that we're going to get to hear where he's singing a female part. We got to hear him do Manic Monday. And we got to hear him do Makeup this song here. But this song, it's actually Susan Moonsey singing it, the version we're going to be playing. But all that being said, Susan Moonsey on lead vocals, Vanity and Brenda Bennett on other vocals. That's indicated as uncertain, so we really don't know. Prince on all instruments, credited as the first time this song was played, October 23rd, 1982 at the Crampton Auditorium in Howard University in Washington, D.C. And the last time was November 11th, 1982 at the Soldiers and Sailors Memorial Auditorium. And I don't know how long that tour was. It must not have been like an insanely long tour. I don't remember. Anyways, here it is, Makeup. You're listening to the album chat for Vanity 6, and this is Makeup right here on the Funkatopia Radio Show and Funked Up. Julie's right. Yeah, Tiana was right. Yes, Prince was very elegant. Julie, you're 5'2". I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but I think short is sexy. Shorties. I think my wife is probably the tallest woman I've ever dated. I take that back. There's been one woman I've dated that's a little bit taller than me. But my wife is 5'8" or 5'7", and she's probably the tallest woman I've ever dated. Like, seriously. Short women are, I don't know what it is. Anyways, Cher says, when I met him, he felt larger than life. Honestly, I did not notice he was short. I knew he was. Maybe I was just so Star Trek. Cammy says, I was 5'3", but now I'm 5'2". I feel you. Sylvia's 5'5". SMS 130 says, yep, that's Terry Lewis. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. What was it like when I met him? I'll tell that story on the next break. I've met him on 3 different occasions. I've told this story multiple times. The first time I sang with him. I stood right next to him and sang. And he was playing the piano, and I was standing right next to him, and we were singing, and I was singing, he was playing, and he was smiling and high-fiving me, and it was a great time. But that wasn't really the meat. The meat was when he came off stage. I'll tell you that story. And that was Makeup with Susan Moonsey on those lead vocals. Notice that all the songs that Susan Moonsey does are pretty much talky songs, and she does it really well. Make up, smoke a cigarette. Yeah, that was Susan Moonsey doing her thing, which brings us to the next song on the album, which is Bite the Beat. And this is one of those songs. Written by Prince, lyrics credited to Brenda Bennett. I wish he had an opportunity to come on the show. I would love to have Brenda on the show to kind of tell us a little about songs like this. The music is credited to Jesse Johnson, so it is co-written by him. And this would be the first song actually recorded on a Prince-related album by Jesse, but it wasn't the first he gave Prince to listen to. There's been plenty of stories where he was working with Prince. There was one time he was living with Prince for a period of time, and they would exchange songs, and he would play stuff for him all the time. Jesse said, I would play tapes of my songs for him, and Prince literally would start laughing. He'd call Morris Day over and like, listen to this, and they both laughed. But let's be honest, out of all of the artists that ever tried to capture that Prince sound, or not even necessarily that Prince sound, but to try to create a sound that was still very Minneapolis sounding, but at the same note was able to kind of break free of that purple vibe, it absolutely was Jesse Johnson. I was obsessed when Jesse Johnson's review came out. I probably played that album nonstop and obviously listening to other stuff too, but I played that nonstop for like 2 years. No joke. I loved Jesse Johnson's review. I thought that was one of the best albums I had ever. It was just so funky and so good. All of his albums, really. I mean, Every Shade of Love, all of them. Not Shockadelica. All of the albums were consistent. there was not much weak music on any of his albums. All of his albums had really strong songs on them, and all of them sounded a little bit different. There really wasn't a common thread, but something about his production that was a little bit unusual. Whenever he would produce songs, they always kind of sounded the same. Maybe people don't feel the same, but like if you listen to like Tomorrow in the Scenes, Blueberry Gossip, or you listen to like DeCrash or any of that stuff. DeCrash was actually a little bit different, but he had this rhythm guitar that ting, 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 ting. It was something that was very, very similar that you could automatically hear it and go, that's a Jesse Johnson produced song. Because it had that same guitar tone, everything. It sounded like a Jesse Johnson track. Although the songs on Jesse Johnson's albums all sounded vastly different from each other. When he would produce music for other people, they all had that really similar sound, like he was using the same guitar pattern or something. It all sounded the same to me. But for his solo stuff, the actual stuff that he would put on Jesse Johnson albums, all that stuff sounded different. There wasn't anything that really sounded the same. It was just in something the way that he produced that had this really similar sound to it across the board for anything that he touched that he produced. Not his albums, but stuff that he produced for other people. And that's just my personal opinion. I could probably play a couple of examples of it, but I'm not here. I'm not trying to bash Jesse. That's not what I'm trying to do. Cause I think Jesse, I have nothing but the utmost respect for Jesse Johnson. I just want to make sure that, it's clear. Jesse Johnson was amazing. I loved Jesse Johnson back in the day. Anyways, matter of fact, there is a picture of me not too long ago, a couple weeks ago, that I put up from the 80s of me wearing a pink suit. And I was sitting with my grandmother, rest in peace, she's sitting there smoking a cigarette, and I'm wearing a pink suit, like a bright pink suit with a pink tie, and my hair's coiffed up, and that's all thanks to you, Jesse Johnson. It wasn't until Jesse that I had the full confidence in myself to wear a pink suit, and it wasn't just the pink jacket. There was pink pants too, brother. It was pink pants too. Oh my gosh. Anyways, the keyboard part was played mostly by Jesse Johnson along with bass. And we're going back to talking about the song Bite the Beat now. Again, the keyboard part was played mostly by Jesse Johnson along with bass and a purple metal flaked Mosrite guitar. He said it was the same model that was used by Leroy Sugarfoot Bonner of the Ohio Players and Ricky Wilson of the B-52s. He loved the B-52s. A song almost as nasty as Nasty Girl, lyric-wise, to be totally honest, but even more visual. Kind of just a little bit, I guess, raunchous. I don't know. The lyrics, when I first saw your teeth, I knew you were the only one qualified. Don't worry, you'll still be dignified. It tastes like caviar. Caviar? I'll let you use your imagination on that one. I'm not even going to chase that one down. Anyways, a bit of a bummer here. Brenda is the lead vocals on this song, but she's kind of reduced to almost rapping on this song, which is a bit of a disservice to her talent. It's a bit of a travesty because, again, you've heard me say this. If you've ever heard Brenda sing, Brenda is a really great vocalist. She's really, really good. So to kind of have her doing this is kind of beneath her capabilities because Brenda is a great singer. So it's kind of, but she's doing what she has to do in order to make sure the song is exactly how they want it. So there's that. So you got to give her credit for being a true artist and stepping below her capabilities to deliver. So there you go. Brenda Bennett on lead vocals, Vanity on vocals, Susan Moonsey on vocals, Prince on all instruments except for Jesse Johnson on guitar, bass guitar, and keyboards. The first time this song was played, October 21st, 1982, is also the last time it was played. It's only been played once. That's it. Just that first show on October 21st. And that's it. Here it is, Vanity Six's Bite the Beat, right here on the Funkatopia radio show. It's track number 7 of 8 on this album chat for Vanity 6. Here you go, Bite the Beat on the Funkatopia radio show and Funked Up. Only got one more song to go, folks. Y'all doing okay? Straight pink clothes. Oh my God, Lawrence. Okay. Yeah, Bare My Naked Soul was amazing, Tony. It was. You know, Bare My Naked Soul is somewhere over in all these CDs right here. Tony was saying that he was trying to find Jesse Johnson's Bare My Naked Soul, and he said he could not find a copy that was like underneath $50 because it's obviously been discontinued, which is a little bit surprising to me. I got it at the Rekisto when it came out, and I saw it. I didn't not even know it came out. It just happened to be sitting on the front of a rack, and I saw it. I was like, okay. And I picked it up, and it was totally different from Jesse Johnson's other albums. It was much more rocky. But yeah. Who said, Chester said, again, Jesse was competition. Yeah, Jesse was definitely competition. I kind of from on the guitar front because he was an amazing guitarist, but I feel like Prince had a better flow on guitar and could actually create a lot more ambiance with his guitar than Jesse can. And when you look at the sheer volume of music that Prince was putting out, Jesse really didn't. I mean, in the 80s, he created 3 albums kind of a little bit back to back, but then he waited like 10 years to create another album. And how long has it been since Bare My Naked Soul was out? Anybody want to Bare My Naked Soul Jesse Johnson release date? Jesse Johnson's Bare My Naked Soul came out in 1996. So there's that. And then Verbal Penetration, which was his last album that he did, if you don't include the work that he was doing on Black Messiah, was 2009. So you're talking about somebody who puts out an album every 10 years at best. It was 14 years between albums. 13 or 14 years between albums. And then since Verbal Penetration, it's been 11 years. So the amount of time between these albums is like, it's like a decade between albums. If you really want to get out there and really kind of prove yourself as competition, you got to release more music than this. And I know that he's been working a lot with D'Angelo and stuff, but we need more music from him. And that was Bite the Beat, the next to the last song on Vanity 6's one and only album, Vanity 6, which brings us to the very, very final album on this album chat. Oh, it's so sad. We're already here. Unbelievable. It's 3 times 2 equals 6. It's actually one of the longest tracks on this album. If I look and see, nope, it's not the longest. Almost the longest. The longest song on this album is If a Girl Answers, Don't Hang Up, which is 5 minutes and 24 seconds. Second place is 5 minutes and 10 seconds with Nasty Girl. And this is the third longest song, 3 times 2 equals 6. Written by Prince, credited to Vanity, not Vanity 6, Vanity. It's a B-side to Drive Me Wild. This is also the song riff. If you listen closely, you might be able to catch it. It's also the song riff that inspired Darling Nikki. And so you can see, once you hear the song, see if you can hear Darling Nikki riffs in there at all. You can, because it is the song that inspired that riff. And matter of fact, what's interesting about it is that Darling Nikki was actually created in Prince's studio by himself. Prince wrote and performed all of Darling Nikki. And it's kind of one of the reasons why that song stands out a little bit more over anything else on Purple Rain when you think about that there was a lot of live music that was happening there. You know, Purple Rain was done live with a full band. Baby, I'm a Star, I Would Die for You. So there's some songs that were there that were created live, but Darling Nikki, which sounds like a full band scenario, is just Prince by himself, and it's recorded. And it's also why it sounds so different than anything else as far as the production quality. It's got that really kind of muted sound. It's a very, very different type of riff. That riff again is inspired by this song here. And Dez says that his involvement with the track was on the spot. He basically said he happened to walk into the studio and Prince needed somebody to play drums. And Dez says 3x2 = 6 was totally spontaneous. I was in the studio with him working on the Vanity 6 records, and he asked me to play drums on the song. That's it. And Vanity said that this song reflects on the relationship between her and Prince and him stepping into the role of her father at the time in her life. For lack of a better way to put it, Vanity really kind of had a lot of, I guess, daddy issues. There's a lot of documented stuff. I think she'd written quite a bit on this, how she was physically abused and everything else with her father. So she really didn't, Prince kind of stepped into that role to kind of take care of her, help her out financially, kind of guide her on a career path, kind of get her started and give her a little bit of a chance and kind of get the wheels moving a little bit before kind of setting her off on her own. And although she chose to go off on her own, Prince was still an active part of what was going on there. Although, you could tell that she was just one of these types of people that just made a lot of weird, relationship wise, she couldn't have gotten involved with crazier people across the board, really, to be totally honest. When you look at the people that she's dated, Prince was a little bit of a firecracker in himself, but she's also dated Tommy Lee from Motley Crue, Rick James. You think about the laundry list of guys that she's been involved with. These were like bad boys. She was obviously attracted to bad boys. That was her thing. And, I think Prince kind of settled that out. Obviously she got a little bit more in control of her life as time went on. But she said, Prince became like a father to me. He loves playing dad. The first thing he did when we met was to nurse me, take care of me. And I was very dependent on him because I needed a father because of the terrible insecurity I had experienced as a child. So there's that. As far as the song is concerned, it's Vanity on lead vocals, Brenda Bennett and Susan Moonsey on vocals, and Prince on pretty much all the instruments except for Des Dickerson on the drums, even though it's credited to the time. The song is the only song on the album that has never, ever been played live. Here it is, the final song on Vanity 6 album. You know it. Here it is. Enjoy right here on the Funkatopia radio show. 5 minutes long. Missing comments. Yeah, I understand you. Jesse you felt like trying to catch up on all these comments. I'm sorry. Lauren says, did you know your dad has a special pink belt too? Maybe. What do you want? Oh, you want photographic evidence of the pink suit? Let me see if I can find photographic evidence of that pink suit. Hold on. I'm going to see if I can find it for you. I got to find it for you now. I don't know if I can find it in time. I found it. You guys want proof that I wore a pink suit? There you go. There it is, the pink suit. The pink suit. There's my grandmother sitting there smoking a cigarette. I don't know if she's in the picture here. Yeah, you can see her smoking. There it is. Mr. Christopher in a pink suit and his thin pink tie. That's the best ever. Don't even tell me that's not the shiznit. That's the best. Oh my God. Yeah, you got your thing. Oh, Nikki from Motley Crue. That's not even better. Daniel says, how many Madhouse albums are there? There are 3 Madhouse albums, 8, 16, and 24. Oh, how did I meet Prince? I met him 3 times. One time sitting next to him, singing to him while he was playing piano, and I was singing along with him, and he wanted me to sing, so I was singing, and I was standing right next to him, like, I mean, I was standing here, and he was, like, right here, so it was like, we were singing. We were having a good time and hanging out. Second time was Jerome at an after party in Atlanta. Jerome asked me if I wanted to go backstage, and I said, Jerome Benton, and I said yes. And of course, he took me upstairs, and Prince was up there with a bunch of folks hanging out. And I didn't really get to talk to him much then. But the one time I did actually get to talk to him again was in Atlanta. And he came down to check the audio during a show. And as he came around the corner, he stopped right in front of me, and I had to stop my brain from going, I can't believe how short he is, because it's the first time I had really ever seen him right in front of me. And, you know, I'm like 5'11", right under 6 foot. And he literally, he the top of his head, like, I mean, it was like here at best. Like, it came up to like right here. And I just couldn't process it, because I was starstruck. So it was a mixture of starstruck and also that. But I got an opportunity to say and shake his hand. I shook his hand, and I put my hand on top of his, and I said, I have to tell you how much you mean to me and how much your music means to you. You saved my life. I appreciate it. He's like, oh man, I really appreciate it. Gave me a little half hug and walked off. So that was the time. Got to go back. But I met him 3 times. At least I was honored enough to have that opportunity. So it was pretty cool. And that's it. 3 times 2 is 6. Again, never believed to have been played live, which is a little bit of a shame, but you know, that wasn't the show. That wasn't really a show. You have 3 girls walking out of lingerie, kind of being a little bit risque and, you know, shaking their tail feathers and doing their things. You don't kind of break out into that song. That song really doesn't create the vibe that you kind of want, especially for a 5-minute song. But there you have it. And that would be the only album that Vanity 6 would release. And there was a bunch of work that was done for the second album that eventually became Apollonia 6. Vanity was supposed to be in Purple Rain. As many of you know, she was the original. Try that again. She was originally supposed to be that lead role that Apollonia played in Purple Rain. But she decided not to be in it. And obviously it would have been a very, very different movie if Vanity was in it. I honestly think Apollonia kind of lightened it up a little bit. She wasn't as dark as Vanity. I'm not talking about tone, skin tone. I'm talking about as far as vibe is concerned. She wasn't as dark as Vanity. Vanity just had this really kind of seductive, sultry thing going on. Apollonia was more bubbly, kind of, in a way. So I think she kind of played the part well, and I think she added something to the movie that just totally changed. I think if Vanity was in the movie, it would have totally changed the way the movie went. So I think that Apollonia ended up being a good choice. Not that Vanity would have been bad, but it just would have been a totally different movie. So as a result, the follow-up to the album, instead of being Vanity Six's second album, that was supposed to coincide with the movie. It just ended up becoming Apollonia 6 instead of Vanity 6. And I had heard two different stories on the amount that Vanity wanted to be in the movie. I want to say that in Big Chick's book, Huntsberry's book, White Slave, which is a really, really quick read. I have it on, I got it on Kindle because I couldn't find a physical copy. Not that it would have mattered. But I want to say that he said that Vanity's manager wanted $150,000 to perform in the movie, to be in the movie. But that Prince was only willing to pay her $50,000. So she decided to not do it. And I can't remember what movie she did. Did she do The Last Dragon or Action Jackson? I can't remember. She did something else instead. And I can't remember which movie it was, but she did something else instead to kind of prove her point. But Purple Rain obviously was the better of the two movies. But I had also heard somebody said she requested like $1 million or something. But I guess $150,000 sounds more in line with it. Anyways, Prince was obviously very upset about it, and because they had a very intense relationship. But again, it's also mentioned in the various escapades and whatnot that they had during that whole tour and everything else. So anyways, so Prince changed the group name from Vanity 6 to Apollonia 6, and the album was called that. And many of the songs on the Apollonia 6 album originally had Vanity's vocals on it. It was Vanity's vocals that were on G-Spot. It was Vanity's vocals that were on Sex Shooter, etc. And so just as an FYI, that somewhere tucked in Prince's vault are all those songs with Vanity's vocals on it. Not that it would have been very, very different, but it would have been different for sure. Vanity's vocals on those songs certainly would have been different. Absolutely. That's is what it is. And of course, as I mentioned, Vanity would do some other movies like Action Jackson and Last Dragon and whatnot, but she would also overdose on drugs and survive, by the way, which led her to have a religious journey and kind of become a born-again Christian. And then she kind of went on this rail to kind of talk about all the things that went on during this period of time. Some of it not so flattering, but it was a journey that would eventually have her retiring the name Vanity. And she told Jet Magazine it was drugs, rock and roll, and that whole sexual thing. Vanity was praying to die because she was lost and hurting inside. And her battle would eventually get the best of her. And after many years of abusing crack cocaine, she would pass away from kidney failure on February 15th of 2016. And that's just 2 months before Prince himself would pass away. Both of them died at the age of 57 within 2 months of each other. And Prince found out that she passed away the day after that she had passed away, when right before he was about to perform his first show in Melbourne, Australia, for the Prince Piano and a Microphone tour. And he dedicated Little Red Corvette to her. The song is supposedly not about her, but he dedicated the song to her. There are some songs that he said is about Vanity. He said that Wonderful Ass is about Vanity. There's a couple other ones that he said was about Vanity, but Little Red Corvette supposedly is not about Vanity. It's about somebody else. But hopefully we'll find out at some point in time. A lot of us here say it's about the one and only Mei-Ling Stone Poole, who many of you know as an avid Funkatopian that you see and hear quite a bit. Mei-Ling, she is a lot of people say that. Wally says it. Jerome Benton says it. Eventually you're going to hear the story. Eventually you're going to hear the story once that book comes out and then you'll understand. Anyways, he dedicated Little Red Corvette to her, along with the song Dirty Mind that was just kind of tied onto that song. And he left it tied on to that song for the rest of the Prince Piano and Microphone tour. Every single time that he played it, he would always mix in Dirty Mind. I'm not sure if that was predicated before this happened or if he just tied it in during that time and then just carried it on through the rest of the tour. I don't know. But anyways, then he also performed The Dawn right after he did that too, which was very telling as well. And by the time he got to the song Adore, concert goers that went to the Melbourne show said that he was pretty much a mess. I mean, he was obviously very, very upset about Vanity's passing. He even said it, that he found out that a friend had died. And so he ended up cutting that show a bit early. And there were a lot of people that were not happy about it. A lot of people were very upset that he cut his concert so early because the tickets were very, very expensive, but he was visibly upset. So there's that. But Prince said about Vanity, she loved me for the artist I was. I loved her for the artist she was trying to be. And she and I would fight. She was very headstrong because she knew she was the finest woman in the world. She never missed an opportunity to tell you that. And that was the final words of Prince for Vanity. So there you have it. The album chat for Vanity 6. I hope you guys enjoyed this. We haven't done an album chat in quite a while. We really haven't done an album chat in quite a while. So it was a good opportunity to be able to sit down with you guys and actually have a good time. Of course, like I do every Tuesday night, I try to make up for the fact that I have talked over all of your Prince block. I apologize. We do the Prince blocks from 6 to 12, 6 p.m. to 12 a.m. and 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. And I'm going to take all those songs that would have been where I was just talking with this album chat, and I'm going to give you an extended Prince block like I do every Tuesday night. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to the album chat for Vanity 6. Hope you guys had a good time, and we will see you next week. I plan on having a special guest on board, and I hope that you will join us. We'll see. I heard there's some really cool special guest by the name of Kat Dyson that's going to be appearing tomorrow night on Dr. Funkenberry's show on Wednesday night. So be sure that you tune in for that. As you know, Jay is a good friend of mine, and he's got Kat Dyson on the show tomorrow night. You got to tune in. I'll be there. I know you'll be there too. Good night, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll talk to you later. You've been listening to Funkatopia Live on the Funkatopia radio show and the album chat for Vanity 6. Good night. And I'm going to start playing music. Anyways, I hope you guys had a good time. Don't forget, lots of cool things going on. I want to make sure that I move all this music to, I got to mute all this music to the end. What time is it? Oh, it's almost 11 o'clock. So I got to move this here. And then I got to move the 9 o'clock hour to midnight. So I'm moving all these songs to the 12 o'clock hour, the 1 o'clock hour, and the 2 o'clock hour. So I'm making sure you guys are taken care of. Give me just a minute. I hope you guys had a good time. It's been a blast. It's been a blast hanging out with you guys and doing these album chats. I hope you had a good time. Don't forget, if you want to order any slime, do it at twogeorgiagirls.com. I will tell you that typically what we normally do, you got to keep in mind that Two Georgia Girls is literally two girls, neither one of which are teenagers. And they came up with this amazing, amazing idea to create therapeutic slime that has this insane, it's just the way that it's made is just unbelievable. And it's got all types of scents to it. So if you want to relax or get into a meditative state, or if you want to wake up, They've got some, really good slime that will help to kind of rejuvenate your senses and kind of really wake you up. Lemon lift is really good for that. If you want to get into a meditative space, if you want to rest and relax, they got lavender. If you want to get into a meditative state, be calm and kind of zen out, they've got this one called Tempting Tangerine that's like an Indian Nag Champa. If you're a grandparent, they've got one that's really super soft. It's made with instant snow. That's kind of even softer than this. That's like really super soft. And it's got the scent of baby powder in it. So that, if you miss your grandkids and, you get a chance to hold babies, it's just, they've thought of pretty much everything. And there's, as Cammie has mentioned, they've got a bunch of new scents that are coming. They've got a cinnamon apple one, I think, or some apple one that they've got coming, and some cinnamon something like the hot cinnamon. I don't know what it is, but they're doing a bunch of things. And they've actually started ordering more potent hemp seed oil. They've got some really high grade hemp seed oil, but they've ordered another type of hemp seed oil that's going to be more high grade than what they have. So not only that, but it will also help for arthritis and joint pain and any type of soreness or muscles that, it's all in there. It's in it's in this friggin' slime. It's friggin' amazing. It's so friggin' amazing. And as some people wanted to know if they could make some others, custom make some. We can, obviously. I would like to try to set that up. I might try to set that up before this week. I'll set it up so that we have like a slime that allows you to choose what scent that you want, which would be very, very cool. And so we'll get that. Also, don't forget, please make sure that you donate to the Bootsy Cares Music Cares Challenge. Make sure that you donate to that because that grand prize package is absolutely friggin' ridiculous. If you have not gone to facebook.com, I'm going to go there right now. I'm going to unpin the broadcast tonight. I'm going to unpin it from the top of the page so that this grand prize package is, so you can see this thing. And on top of that, this grand prize package that's coming with the Music Cares Challenge is, all you got to do is donate $5 and you're entered. For every $5 you entered, for every $5 you donate to this, you get entered into, you get an entry in. $20 you get 4 entries. $100 you get 20. You know how the math works. Unfriggin' real. This grand prize package is going to cost me a fortune to send it to whoever wins it. But the second prize package and the third place package are also pretty badass. They've got some pretty awesome prizes in it. And I'm going to be adding some more prizes to the second and third one as well. More vinyls, more some symbol vinyls for your car, for your laptops and stuff. Some collector magazines and some other things. Cammie said that she's going to be sending a bottle of 3121 perfume. We might add that into the mix as well. It's pretty friggin' cool. So just awesome. If you guys would like to know, if you want to donate something to put into the prize packages, you can write it off because this has nothing to do with Funkatopia. This has nothing to do with Bootsy Collins, even though we are working together for this. This has to do with supporting artists and musicians, and this is a donation. You're donating it. You're donating it to the Music Cares Challenge. It's a P.O. box that you'll find on Funkatopia.com, Funkatopia.com. You can donate. You can send stuff there, and then we will put it in one of the prize packages. Michelle Bryant sent so much stuff that I don't know that I can put it in all the prize packages. So we'll have to figure something out because she sent me, no joke, she sent me like a stack. I'm trying to remember like a stack of collector's magazines. And you should see how many friggin' Michelle, are you even here tonight? You should see how many friggin' vinyl. Let's see this. This is not all of them. Where'd all of them go? This is not all of them. These are vinyls. These are vinyls for laptops and cars that Michelle Bryant sent. Custom vinyls that she made that I'm going to have to she donated them. I mean, and the stack of collector's magazines that she sent was even more ridiculous. And she also
she also made all these friggin' bags. Look at these bags that she made. Look at this. This is a custom red book bag with the look at it. These are like sequins. Well, not sequins. What do they call them? Like bedazzled things. And she made that red one. Here's another red one that's just like that she made. And here is, oh, this one's, I didn't even notice this one. Here's another one that she made. So she made these two that are almost very similar. Let me see this one. Michelle, I didn't even see this one. Look at this one this was a drawstring one. Look at this. Oh my God. Are you serious? That's awesome. That is cool. This is a drawstring one that she made. She made these. And look at this one. This is another one that Michelle made. Man, Michelle, I can't even tell you how awesome this friggin' is. This is another one that Michelle made. Look at that. That's awesome. I didn't even notice that. I thought they all had that look, that all just had the Prince symbol on them with the Prince across the top. There's a bunch of cool ones, man. So Michelle put all these to add into the prize packages. I mean, so I've got to add them to the prize packages, or when we do the second drawing after September 1st, maybe I'll put some of them in there. I don't know, but these are like amazing. These are fantastic, and she sent these. And again, Cammie's sending 3121 perfume, which is a discontinued perfume. So if you have that, that's like a collector's edition. She's so amazing. She sent one to Jaden for her birthday. Jaden was like, "Oh my gosh, I can smell like Prince." It's like, yeah, probably. So yeah, this is man. Adriana says add more than 3 winners. You know, I could, but here's the thing. So many people that are donating to this Music Cares challenge, they're not sending me the receipts. So I know that kind of annoys people every single time that I say that, because they're like, you know, Cammie, you keep asking, do I like peach? Yes, I love peach. I'm live in Georgia. I have to like peach. It's imperative that I like peach. There's no other. Yeah. Anyways, what was I going to say? Lauren says, how much do you want for that pink suit? I don't have that pink suit anymore. I have no idea what happened to it. It was made of polyester. So I'm sure it did not stand the test of time. That picture was from 1985, maybe. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, so it's very, very cool. Cammie says, I will mail mine from here so you don't have to worry about it. I could actually put it in the picture too, because I think I still have the box and everything for the one that you sent to Jaden, so I could just use that to put it in the picture. But yeah, man, that grand prize package is ridiculous. So if you donate, please make sure that you send in your receipt. Please send your receipt over to shout@funkatopia.com, or you will not get entered in this contest. I saw the email that there's a bunch of people that have ordered, have donated and sent me the receipt. I will, as soon as we get done here, I will make sure that I disconnect and send you an email and tell you that you are entered. And I will put your email over into a thing, and I'll make sure that everybody knows. I will supply a list of people that are entered. You gotta, yeah. Adrian says, I was going to respond about adding more winners. Well, the problem is that you got to make it like a contest. It's like having, if you've got like 20 people that sent you receipts and you're already offering 3 prizes, you've already got an amazing chance to win. You can maybe have an even more amazing chance to win if I created 3 more packages. But all right, so here was the deal. We kept saying that for every single point that we get, for every single thing that we hit, landmark, like we did it at 1,000. Once we crossed 1,000, we added more prizes. Once we crossed the 1,500, we added prizes. Once we created 2,000, you got it. We're at $3,000 now.
If we can get to 3,500, before September 1st, that's not hard. That's $449 away. We get $449 more in donations. You guys spread the word about it. You don't have to donate yourself if you already donated. If you haven't donated, donate and help us get to that number. If we get to $3,500, I will add 3 more prize packages. That will be 6 prize packages. If we get to 3,500, I will add 3 more prize packages. Now you got to keep in mind, this contest ends on September 1st. The Music Cares Challenge actually goes to October 23rd is what she said. But this prize package that we're doing here, that's going to end on September 1st. So if you look at a calendar, that is literally exactly 2 weeks from today. 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks away. If we can get $450 in donations in 2 weeks and get it to over 3,500, I will add 3 more prize packages. They won't be nearly as big as the other ones, but we can still, yeah. So yeah, Cammie, if you guys want to hit $5,000, that's even better. I mean, I'll just keep on. I'll just keep adding more prizes to those other packages. So anything that every $500 that we get above and beyond 3,500, I'll keep adding more prizes to it. I mean, I'm already going to add. I'll add books, vinyls, collectors things. I'm sure Bootsy will add more things. If I ask him, he will certainly add more things. So it's going to be amazing. So keep it coming. We will continue to keep pushing and just keep on adding. And if we hit 3,500, I will add 3 more prize packages. Again, they won't be as big as these prize packages, obviously, but you at least got a shot at winning some pretty cool collectible stuff. And I've got stuff that I can do. I mean, you see some of the stuff I've got around here. I certainly could do it. And I when I die, I can't take it with me. And if I were to sell it, I would rather it be used for something like this anyways. So you'll come up with prizes that you would like to see. You'd like me to, do some vinyl. I've got vinyl. I've got lots of vinyl here. I got lots of vinyl. You see all that vinyl right there, right? See, not only that stack of vinyl that's right here, this is a lot of stuff, but there's also all that vinyl down there, plus all those CDs and stuff. I can start digging in my collection. We can do some really cool stuff. Gotta let me know. And it's for a really good cause. I can't split the prize packages I already have because I already promised some of the prize packages out as they're structured now. So you have to assume that people are entering the contest because of the way the existing prize packages are structured. So I'm not going to be spreading them out anymore. So anything that I do is going to be above and beyond what you already see there. So we'll be doing more vinyls. We'll be doing more actual vinyls. We'll be doing, I'll find some stuff. Magazines, those bags. We got the 3121 perfume coming. We got all kinds of stuff. I think we're going to keep on. We're going to stop. We're going to stop adding to the packages right now as they stand. Right now as they stand, that's how they're standing. But we'll come up with more stuff, and I'm sure that Bootsy will come up with stuff too. It'd be cool, and we'll just take it. So there's that. So you go to GeorgiaGirls.com to order your therapeutic slime. To Georgia Girls. Get your orders in because normally she fulfills them on Thursday nights. Thursday and Friday nights is normally when they fulfill these, and then they normally ship out on Saturday. So that's normally when they ship. So you need to get your order in so you can make sure that they get made if you're going to order them. To GeorgiaGirls.com, TWO, GeorgiaGirls.com. Then also GiveLyNow.com/O/stars/Funkatopia. You can add that too. And there's that. Lots of cool stuff. Thank you guys for tuning in. It was a lot of fun. For those of you that missed any of this, you can obviously watch it on Facebook Live. This will actually be posted on Facebook Live as soon as I click end broadcast. This video will be sitting up there on Facebook. I never know how much they edit out because I don't rewatch these things. I don't want to see myself. But I never know how much of the audio was bleeped out or whatever. I just, because Facebook likes to mute music when they hear music. That's even though we've already told them, we said we're ASCAP licensed. We pay ASCAP licensing so that we can play music. They're like, it doesn't matter. We're a different platform. It's just whatever. So yes, for that. And then what else? What is this? This is White Girls. It's kind of the White Girls. Horrible recording. It's a bootleg of a bootleg of a bootleg of a bootleg of a bootleg is what it sounds like. Listen to that hiss. All right now. Anyways, I hope everybody's doing well. If you got kids in school, I hope all of them doing well. Pray for their safety and whatever. And I hope everybody's doing good. I hope you guys had a great night. I hope you guys loved all the stories and whatnot. And again, if you missed any of it, and you want to hear the audio of it or the tweaked out audio or production, you can follow us on, you can become a Patreon supporter at patreon.com/Funkatopia and you'll get it. Plus it's also will be up on iHeartRadio. Plus it will also be on iTunes. Plus it will also be on SoundCloud, Radionomy. It's I don't even know where we all are, but it's like in a bunch of different places. Good night, everyone. Hope you guys had a great time. I'm ending this broadcast. We will see you next week. I plan to have somebody on board, but it's one of these scheduling things that we keep working around. Remember to tune in tomorrow night. Dr. Funkenberry is going to have Kat Dyson on tomorrow night. So you've got your tomorrow night planned for you. Go support Jay and watch Kat. It's pretty cool when he gets somebody on. See ya. Good night. Adios. Bye now. See ya. Yes, and broadcast.